Okay.
Oh, you guys can keep talking. Hey, everybody.
Hi.
What's good?
Let me see that it's on YouTube.
Yeah, I uploaded my 50th video on Escape today, actually.
Are we live?
Yes, but when you wave, you're gonna see it like 20
Hello,
seconds
world.
later. That's why you're like,
No, my faceless channel Mystique.
Garth, what's up? Avis Meledux. See, some of these names I never said. You know how you never see a name out loud, you just read it all the time, so then you don't know how to pronounce it. That's what I'm getting with some of these.
I lost the
Douglas.
tags that we had in the videos, which had all of our names on it.
Terry, what's up?
Is there a way to make that reappear?
Christine. We are live, everybody. Alex G, Sherry. Sherry says she's gonna roast. All right, so this might apply more to Sherry than anybody else. But Matt, you see Matt over there? Wave to the people, Matt. Matt is, oh, that's a good question. He is going to be moderating. So if you do something that is, if you try to carry on your own conversation through the chat, like he's gonna shut it down. If you say something mean, he's gonna shut it down, and or I'm gonna shut it down because I'm meaner than he is, so I can't trust him.
No, I'll shut it down. I'll shut it down.
Okay, yeah. So he's patrolled today. I'm gonna give it about 2 more minutes. Thanks for that comment. Yeah, that was a good point. But
There we go.
I'm about to give it about 2 more minutes for people to come in, or 3 or so. Say hi to each other. And then we'll get started. Players in the building, Afro Fukcha. See how I don't know how to say it? Diane. I know her name is Diane though. She's gonna run and get dinner in that 2 to 3 minutes.
My sister messaged me, "Go, Greg," with the YouTube link.
Aw, that's sweet. He's got the sweetest family. And his you guys here? You guys getting some feedback? Anybody?
I'm good.
Okay. Party time, Ministry of Truth. See, we got all these people with jugs coming in. See, I know he's gonna be trouble too.
I know.
So you, Kenneth, he like jokes too. So Matt, codename the Beast, he's gonna be helping me moderate you guys. Number one, this is a public event, and you know this. We're out. What are we? Outlaws or whatever? AI filmmakers. So,
Pirates, because we're all thieves.
pirates, bandits, all that kind of stuff. And you're in the Keys too, Florida Keys, so you're in the right place for being a pirate.
Yar.
So he's gonna,
You know what
make
a
sure-
pirate's favorite letter is?
C.
Oh, he got it. And people always say R, and you say you
No,
may
it's
think it's
C.
R, but his first love be the C.
C? Oh, C. Hey, TPCQ. He does a lot of action stuff. So everybody, we're going to try to keep it around 2 hours, and I'll be staying later for questions. There will be a question and answer segment after. Wait, let me keep the comments open or the notes open. There will be a question and answer segment, after I'm done with these people asking them my questions. And then you guys can ask questions in the chat and stuff, so you can reserve your questions. You can write them down somewhere else, and not try to be in the chat answering the questions and stuff while we're doing all of this. If you can hold them till that segment, that would be great. What else do you need to know other than that? Yeah, I'll stay longer if any of the other filmmakers want to stay longer to ask questions and everything. Longer than 2 hours, then we'll do that. You guys aren't hearing anything? You guys didn't hear that?
Hear what?
Everybody sure they have the YouTube stream tab muted?
Our audio sounds great.
Okay, because I'll hear like a tunnel noise like every few minutes. But okay. All right, let's get this show started. It is 5 past. Everybody, filmmakers, fans of AI film, all of that good stuff. Welcome to the Art of the AI feature film live roundtable event. Historic, never been done. All just a group of feature-length filmmakers. This is a new medium, all talking about the craft, all talking about their experiences, all talking about what goes into it and everything like that, all for the benefit of me and you. See, I got my notes. I'm gonna be taking notes. I hope you got your notes too, and you'll write your questions there as well. And we're gonna get into it. I have descriptions for these fellas in the group in the description for the video, but we're gonna let them add anything if they want to say something about themselves. I guess I'll start though, just to show you what it's like, or show them what it's like. My name is Tasha Caulfield, aka TM Caulfield. I am a filmmaker working in AI. Do you guys like AI filmmaker? Like that title? Do you guys like it?
No.
I like generative filmmaker.
You like generative filmmaker?
I do. Generative entertainment.
Okay.
I use AI filmmaker. I say it, but it's like really we're just filmmakers using a new type of technology for a new medium. Like,
Yeah.
Isn't it the same thing? Is there? You assume there has to be something that distinguishes us from everything else. We're different. We're the outcasts, right? But how long is that going to last once the technology is embedded in every part of our life?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like you, I just use AI filmmaker because that's, it's a shorthand. It lets people know what you're talking about. But it's like, if you're doing an animation thing and this other thing, you don't say, okay, I'm this, I'm that. Like, you don't change it for every style of filmmaking that you do. And so, yeah, we'll start with Brian. Oh, wait, no, I said I was going to start with me. All right, so, yeah, I got into filmmaking when I was around 14, I guess you can say. I was in a juvenile justice facility. Bad kid, bad family, bad neighborhood, bad everything. And I got caught up in all of that. And organization came in teaching writing, sitcom writing. So I started with writing, went on with the instructor one-on-one in a mentorship, and started writing everything from screenplays and short stories and all that kind of stuff to deciding to go to film school for directing at the USC, prestigious USC, because I was writing all of the camera directions in my scripts, which you're not supposed to do if you're just the writer, unless it is absolutely necessary to a part of the story. I'm used to being around a lot of talent because, as some of you know, with the program at USC, who has everybody from George Lucas, and everybody wins an Oscar every year and an Emmy every year. And this year, I guess I'd give it to Ryan Coogler Sinners. I think he's probably got a lot of our attention this year. I'm used to being around a lot of talented people, so I feel comfortable holding court with you guys. I'm not that intimidated, so that's why I kind of put this together to help me learn as I am working on my first feature-length film with AI film. UAI Artists, that's my company. None of these guys are affiliated with it, by the way. I don't want to present that. It's just if I didn't use my logo, Restream was going to put theirs. I didn't want that to happen. So I was like, all right, I'll use my logo for my...
It looks good. It looks classy.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Classy like the person behind it.
All right, don't flirt with me in public, Gregory. Oh, my God.
Sorry. You said we could say anything.
Okay, you're right. You can flirt with me. So what else? See. Okay, this is why. All right, you go ahead, Brian. If anybody wants to know more about it, we can talk about it later.
Just like what, a brief bio?
If you want, or you could say the description you have in the video is fine. I don't care.
In short, I started out as a author of like really quirky satire books through an organization called Soft Skull Press that went under, and my early writing career went along with it. So I was in the middle of working on a novel, and then I lost all my publishing contacts, so I started doing entrepreneurial endeavors over a wide variety of businesses. And then I learned how to flip and sell businesses, almost like how people flip houses. And that was cool, but it was also super unfulfilling because it was not like creative in the way I wanted it to be. So finally in 2020, I launched K13 Press, which I released my first actual novel that I'd written 10 years prior. Hired a bunch of editors from Scribner, one editor from Scribner and another one from some other major house. Because I didn't want it to be self-published. I wanted it to go through the same process like a proper novel would go through. And it did surprisingly well, so I followed it up with a trilogy. And in that time, right around 2021, I was introduced, or was it 2022? I guess it doesn't matter. I was introduced to Midjourney, and I started kind of using it to storyboard my novel ideas to see how everything looked. That then led me to creating graphic novel adaptations of my novels that I'm publishing through K13. And then that led me to video, I think mostly with the release of Minimax 1. And once I started messing with that, my life was over, and here I am. So I'm currently, this year, I've released 2 features, The Cheap and Pumpkin Patch. I like to do holiday stuff because it's kind of got to build an audience I could riff on. And then I'm following it up with a 3rd for Christmas, and then 2 more next quarter. So I basically do this for 16 hours a day now.
Nice.
16 hours.
I wake up at 6 in the morning and I don't quit until 11. That's the rule because it's awesome.
Right,
I know it's not Blacklight's schedule, but it's close.
All right, we'll get into that because I know those are beginner hours. Like, the first, those are, at least for me and some other people, those are like when you first start, and it's that whole, AI never sleeps thing. So you don't sleep, and you're a whole mess. Like, and that's all you do, and you focus on. You do those 16 hours, but I thought you'd grow out of that.
No, I'm sorry. Well, now I'm on tight holiday schedules. I gotta make a feature film by Christmas, so sometimes it's 18. I did a 36-hour stretch once, but that was stupid because everything was stupid after the 20th hour. It was nonsense.
Okay. All right. How about you, Gregory?
How about me? Let's see. What is this? This is a question about just us in general. We're just talking.
Yeah, if you just want to add anything about yourself, your background.
Okay, so I'm a storyteller. I grew up playing tabletop RPGs, all different RPGs, D&D, Star Wars RPG, everything, right? And I became obsessed with storytelling. When I took some video classes in high school, I discovered screenwriting, and that became my obsession for a very long time. I studied the craft. I read screenplays all day, every day. I wrote for hours and hours every day, and I put together a portfolio at this point, like over 50 TV pilots and features, and I've only sold one thing, like a micro budget rom-com, right? I've had a lot of crazy experience in the industry. I guess shout out to the Hollywood con queen, who is a person who conned like over 1,000 people. That was a professional con artist who pretended to be a woman and other people, and I was their most significant con, where they got changed from a short con to a long con, where I went to Indonesia thinking for 6 months I was developing a movie for the China Film Group Corporation, but it turned out to be a scam to get my travel money. But I ended up taking this person down, right? And so I became sort of like infamous in Hollywood, and like a maybe do not touch this person too much type of way. And it always got brought up by a lot of different people, but I was responsible for his arrest, and he's currently standing trial, right? But basically, I had a weird relationship with traditional Hollywood as a result, and I couldn't get management representation. And I had these producers that were interested in this project, Wicked Wyoming, which was a TV pilot that's like Civil War Deadwood meets Cthulhu horror, right? And they really liked it, and they wanted me to put together supplemental pitch decks and mood boards and all this stuff. So I'm like, all right, what is there? Enter Midjourney, right? That was like, the gateway drug of AI at the time, right? This was like the summer of 2023. And I started making Midjourney images, and I put together this video where I added this Mars Argos song, and I had like 900 images. And I'm like, here. And they're like, oh, well, it's just images, like people aren't going to respond too much to that. And I'm like, you know what, maybe I can find something. And I discovered Runway Gen 1, where you drop in an image, you push a button, and it makes the asset a video. And so over the course of 2 days, I took my images, I animated them all, and made my first music video. And then it was done. Like, then I needed to make another one, and another one, and another one, and then move on to short films and discover different tools and then start using those. And then the X community grew, and we were all talking to each other, and we were all sharing our stuff. And then it just compounded until like AI became the obsession, rather than me using it to try to act as a supplemental pitch material for my screenplays, which I still do here and there. But like I did like this phenomenal one. This is like going back 2 years for one of my scripts, Cinderella, and I send it out all super hyped. This video, I email managers and producers where I had my 3-minute AI movie as part of the pitch to pitch my screenplay to get a request to read. And I got like 5 responses, and none of them gave a shit about my script. They were interested in the AI movie that I made. And like they wanted to know more about AI and AI filmmaking. And so that's been my journey, like shifting from taking down a bad guy to being the proverbial bad guy in Hollywood, where now I'm making the things where it's like, I drink your milkshake, like, oh, nice movie you got there. I'm going to copy your actors and copy your voices with 11 Labs and make my own music. And haha, it's monetized, fair use, 1988. Copyright Act, and do my own thing. But you know what? We're all like breaking boundaries here. The talent in this room is crazy. Like I'm gonna stop talking now because I want to hear from everyone else. This is exciting.
Awesome. Great story. Yeah, he famous on American Greed. No, I'm just kidding. But, he famous. How about you, Black Light? By the way, I thought Black Light was black, everybody. I'm sorry. I was trying to be inclusive. But it turned out he wasn't, so I ran out on the street, grabbed Matt, said, hey, for a burger, will you moderate? I need something, because they gonna come at me. But not just kidding. How about you, Black Light?
Yeah, no, I just got into it last year and have made, yeah.
You've done a lot in a year.
Yeah. So
I thought you were doing it way longer, because like the stuff you put out is crazy. Like your image game is like up there,
Thanks.
Like I thought that you were in Midjourney from the very start.
No, I started in April of last year, and I got bored of Midjourney. Like I like the variation that it provided, but I felt limited in the creation aspect of it.
So what are you using now?
So I use like a mix of like Comfy, and then I'll train models from my images.
We're gonna get to that.
Yeah.
You got your own stuff.
Gregory wants my job. All right, go ahead.
But yeah, no, I just got into it, and then I always joke that like TikTok is kind of like boot camp, because you have to constantly make content, and that's where I started. I remember like Gregory mentioned me make a music video first. Like I think my first music video was maybe a minute long, and it took me like 8 hours to make. And I was like, I don't know how people make these videos. And now I can make like a minute video in an hour. And just because you go through the repetition of having to do it so many times.
Get Ben Nash in here.
Yeah. And yeah, so just did a music video, and then eventually just wanted to start telling stories. Got kind of bored of just like the slow moving character montages, and so I have all these weird jokes that I'm always running around saying, and I was like, I just want to bring my weird ideas to life, and so I just started making weird shit.
Well, your sense of humor for your stuff is like very, very out there. It's like crazy, because you wouldn't, without AI, like where would that be distributed? What would be the audience? Like instead now you've developed a huge audience, and you were going viral too, right? On
Yeah,
on
and like
short
it
form.
wings, it comes and goes. Like there's an exploration element to what I do. Like I don't want to be just stuck doing one thing all the time. I mean, like I've done 24, 25 cryptid dating game episodes. Like I
That's
want to
crazy.
make other things.
It's like a whole season of a
Yesterday,
show.
like yesterday I did this video called What's Inside, and I was joking about it over the weekend because like last year I did this video where like a head opens up and it was like a whole new scene, and then all these people on Instagram started doing that, and I was like, you guys are really like maximizing this to the thing. And I was joking with my girlfriend, I'm like, I'm gonna do a show where it's called like What's Inside, and then like it's actually just people, and all the people just open up and there's random things inside. And
Oh,
and
that
it
sounds
just
awesome.
started making it yesterday, and it like came out super funny, and I was like, this is actually great. People are like, I love it. I'm like,
Did you
looking
did you
forward-
release this yet? Is
Yeah,
it?
I posted it yesterday.
Oh, okay. I'll look.
All right, and last but certainly not least, because he was first, the first one through the wall gets his nose bloodied, and Hooroo Jackson has taken some hits for us. I mean, he has been banned from places like Letterboxd and stuff for submitting his AI featured film back in 2023 and stuff that hopefully none of us will ever have to endure. I mean, you think we got trolls now to deal with? Imagine putting out a feature back in 2023 and all that kind of stuff he was dealing with. He's gotten it from both sides, non-AI people and AI people, which you learn once you start doing AI too. The trolls are everywhere. The call is coming from within the house. But he's taken a lot of gumph for us, so we will take a moment to, applaud him. If you're in the chat, if you could do a little round of applause for Mr. Hooroo Jackson. We appreciate you. We love you. We respect you. And we're proud to be here in this moment with you and for leading the charge. And tell us a little bit about yourself if you want. If not, that's fine.
Sure. I started in 2014 in trad film. I directed.
Trad is traditional, by the way. I'm going to clarify some terms for new people.
Filmmaking, Amy in a Cage, a 2014 movie. And that was it made small waves in the festival circuit. Crispin Glover was in it. It had all these actors and stuff. And after that film, I was working in the film industry. On the periphery, I did over 100 pitches to Hollywood executives, to companies, to startups. And it's not something like if you have movie stars, a pitch deck and stuff like that. I had those in my packages, but it was always the same question. It's about box office. We want box office. We don't want your movie stars. We want Denzel Washington. We want Tom Cruise. So it's very black and white. It was very restrictive, but it wasn't just about limiting me. What I was noticing was what the film industry was permitting at both sides of me. It was people without any of that, without movie stars. It was just people who had that one connection at the top company, who had the Harvard friend who gets them through the door, and suddenly their micro budget explodes and they're getting opportunities. So this system, this Hollywood system, is there's a quote from Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan massacred hundreds of millions. Genghis said, "God must really hate you if he sent me to this planet." And I think that's with AI cinema. I think God hates the film industry. I think God hates the film industry, how it's clicky, how it's just about money, how it's just about
Satan worship.
Yes. So he sent us, the AI filmmakers, to level the playing field, to democratize everything, give everyone a chance.
Democratize. This guy.
Yeah, now I'm hearing films are coming out now that are $200, $300 million budgets. We can do them for $500. And the technology obviously is not at the point yet that it would be at the same level, but it would be watchable, and it's rapidly improving every year. And I'm hearing 200 million box office flops, and people are like, oh, box office doesn't matter. It's a good film. I'm saying, where was that for us independent filmmakers? That didn't exist. It's just all or nothing, box office or movie jail. So it's a ridiculous system, the film industry, and AI is a godsend. It's going
All
to
right,
be
so
perfect for all of us.
So he came in hot. He's a really savage. God must hate you, Hollywood. If he
Yeah.
sent me, if he sent AI.
I want to talk about this more.
Yeah, we'll get into that. So man, I mean that threw me. he really came in hot.
Made me love this guy.
Yeah, so
Let's fucking go.
yeah, okay. So real quick though, I don't think Matt cares to talk. He's he's not that kind of guy. But I will say, for anybody who's into Japanese animation, he's an AI filmmaker that's focused on that side. So all things Japanese anime, he's your guy. He is also, I think, a guy who is open to dating anyone who looks like Angelina Jolie. And if you're into you said Angelina Jolie in a conversation, and if you're into Japanese,
Wait, what? No,
now here he comes. I thought that was your crush. You said
fake news.
Who,
Fake
who
news.
was it?
Completely
Who
fake
was
news.
it? Who was it? You said somebody.
When
Was
when
it
did
Scarlett
this come?
Johansson?
ScarJo.
Oh, ScarJo. Oh yeah, ScarJo. Yeah.
Okay. So if you look like Scarlett
Ghost
Johansson,
in the Shell. That
and
was the
are
context.
into-
Ghost in the Shell.
Elizabeth Shaw.
No, Ghost in the Shell. It's
Ghost in the
anime.
Shell. Okay, so if you look like Scarlett Johansson or you're into Japanese animation, I do think he will take one of the two, though. I don't think he might still give you a shot either way. That's your guy. All right, so the intention of this is to support all of us filmmakers or those aspiring to be a filmmaker using AI in telling your stories that require a longer time to tell, feature length, long form, stuff like that. This is not to say that making features is better or worse. It all relies on the story and how long it takes to tell that story. And so, sometimes you decide, I just want the challenge of telling a longer story. Sometimes, if you're like me with my current film, Muhammad Ali, you got backed into it where the story just takes as long as it takes, and now you're doing a feature. So I want to make that clear. And also, filmmakers have different approaches, different goals. None of us speak for each other. So, don't think that if one person is saying something, we all feel that way, or we don't. And we also all have different goals with what we're doing with AI filmmaking. Some are into it for the pure artistry of it. Others are wanting to create feature-length films to integrate into a Hollywood structure, things like that. So whatever questions you have and things like that, understand that the person might be coming from a different perspective, or what perspective they're coming from, so that to know whether or not the answer applies to you or it doesn't. It's not good or bad. If you want to use it for Hollywood, or if you want to use it for another form or whatever, for outside of that structure, it is what it is. You're entitled to want whatever you want. But just basically within this whole AI feature film thing, know your goals, know what you want, know where you're at, and just know what applies to you. When you give advice, which all these guys, at one point or another will be giving, you can only really show someone or teach someone how to do what you've done, or be like you in some sort of way. No one here is equipped to tell you how to not make AI feature films. So if you have questions about why you can't do it, no one here is equipped to tell you that. They can only tell you how you can do it. All right. So before we get into the meat of it, I have one quick question so that we can judge you all better. And I want you, hopefully you can answer it within 20 seconds each or so. You're on a stranded island. You can only have 3 films with you. One is a traditional, film, traditional live, whatever film or animation or whatever. Another is an AI film made by another filmmaker who uses AI. And the last film is one of your films. And you watch them for eternity. That's all you get. Which ones are you choosing?
Wait, a traditional film, one
A
of our
traditional
films.
film, an AI film made by someone other than yourself, and an AI film that you've made. So choose one. You can give a reason. If you can do it real quick, give a reason. But if not, you can definitely give a reason for your film while you're choosing that one. But for the other two, if you're gonna give a reason, do it quickly. All right, I'll start with you, Blacklight.
I would do What Dreams May Come. It's my traditional film. I would choose your 1984, or Diane's Wet. I love that too. So it's a toss up there.
Okay.
And then for my own, I would probably choose After Death because I like the music. It's peaceful.
Music, that's one of the best things about making this stuff because you get to hear it over and over. Like months after you're done, whatever, like you get to still go back to the music and play it as George Lucas said. It's one of the best parts of filmmaking because you don't have to turn music off and go to work. You can just keep the music playing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, how about you, Gregory?
All right, movie. I'm just gonna say Swiss Family Robinson because there's got to be some life tips to help if you're stranded on an island in there. For my movie, I guess I would just say Snow Episode 2, which was an hour and a half Game of Thrones thing. It has a nice soundtrack, and I probably wouldn't get too bored of it too quickly. And then for someone else's AI movie, I have no idea. Maybe like one of those movies that was just like all the music, right? Like Blacklight, you've made some really long things where it's like I can't even say the name, but there's just like music and trippy visuals the whole time. You know what I'm talking about. Like, right? Like, I don't remember the names of those, but those would be...
Some of them are just throwaway their names when I just put a bunch of songs together that I like.
Okay, and Hooroo, how about you?
Movie would probably be X-Men Wolverine, the Wolverine. I'm a huge fan of comics and Marvel, and Wolverine is my favorite character. He has a temper, but he's really cool and heroic. My own personal movie, I would do DreadClub Vampire's Verdict. It's an anime film, and it's really charming, and you can put it at any point and you'll watch it all the way through. It's a fun movie. And the AI things I love these Sora 2 Michael Jackson videos. I think Michael Jackson is so adorable and charismatic and charming. And so seeing him just in random situations is a really novel use of AI. It's turning Michael Jackson into like a comic strip or something. So I really like those videos.
Shout out to everybody doing Michael Jackson videos. All right, you Brian.
It's really hard for the traditional, but currently my favorite movie is There Will Be Blood, so I'm going to take that one. Of my own work, or am I doing mine next? I guess Pumpkin Patch, since I just made it. There's nothing better than a pumpkin-headed vigilante beating the shit out of criminals in a Halloween land. And as far as, are we talking AI feature or AI short?
Either one.
Am I allowed to name like a clip artist? Or do I got to name...
What's a clip artist?
You know, like some of the guys that just do like 20, 30-second stuff. All right, fine. Then I will tell you, I was watching Blacklight's Whisper in the Dark last week, and I had a moment, so I will choose that one.
Okay. All right, very nice. I would go... What happened? Oh, okay. I would go with Cool Hand Luke for my traditional film. That's my favorite. Well, it's my island film because I wouldn't miss Civilization, I don't think, if I'm watching that. And it's just brilliant. Though the more I watch the movie Giant, the more I'm like, that might be it. As far as films by other AI filmmakers, I would go with Damien Packard's John Carpenter film. I mean, I've watched that like last year. I watched it, I don't know how many times. I would just lay in bed and watch it over and over and over again. That really John Raffman, as everybody knows by now, probably that knows me, is another guy I'm really big on. His Vultures video for Kanye, and all that. He did Charlie Puth's videos. Like he does, he gets good artists to work with. But that was really good. So I've watched that a gazillion times as well. But Island, Damien Packard, and for my films, I mean my favorite and the most important, I think, is Broadcast Yourself, the Mr. Anime Story. But I don't want to be on an island with Trey Sessler. So I don't know. I can't pick. All right. So let's get to it. Let's start discussing the art of the AI feature film. First of all, what goes into your decision to make a feature-length film with AI? Some of you guys don't have to answer every question if you don't want to, but I will pick on you if you haven't answered in a while. So I'll see if you guys could handle jumping in on your own. Otherwise, I will continue to call you out like a teacher.
The first is the telling yourself that you're about to make the most insane time commitment. Like, you have to agree with yourself, like, okay, I'm going to do this thing. Because then everything goes into that thing. And you have to be
work. You have to like brace yourself.
Yeah, you have to mentally prepare and be like, okay, I'm going to do this. Because even when you're working on scenes between days, like, you think about it, you dream about it. If you hit a roadblock with a scene that you feel like you need to go back and fix, you're like constantly marinating on like, how am I going to change that? And then randomly you'll be not making it, the few moments you have not doing it, and you're like, oh, I got it. And then you go and immediately do the thing, and then you're there for another 8 hours because you get sucked into the flow. I think the one thing with like AI when you're creating long form content is like you get the ability to get into a flow state very easily.
Yeah,
And it's very hard to like get out of that, especially when you do it routinely, because then you become like this just singular focus, and every day becomes that focus.
Do you worry that with people putting out a lot of short form, like the quick turnarounds, weekly, sometimes daily, that you working on a longer project will, hurt your socialization and ability to, develop an audience for what your eventual release?
So I'm like really, I chat a lot with A's Alter, who was like probably one of the first filmmakers in the space, like doing medium form content. And we talk about different strategy a lot. And he posts maybe like once every 6 months, and I post almost daily. And it's like we talk about the difference between like a shotgun approach versus a nuke. When you're taking a longer period of time to release something and you're not as like communicating as often, people are much more critical to look at that one piece of work versus like the daily stuff where you're like, oh, this is just a daily thing. Like, it's going to just get lost in the cycle. So the longer form content, you almost have like more of eyes on you being like more critical than something that someone's creating on a daily basis.
See, I would think you almost have no eyes on you. If the longer form, I don't know if I know who you were talking about, but I know, if someone just popped up 6 months and was like, here's my film, and by the way, it's an hour and a half, no one's watching that. Who is you? Hooroo and Gregory, you guys are kind of outside of the X sphere of, that AI film community. So how do you guys develop an audience for the longer form.
Would you like to go first, Hooroo?
Sure. I don't really do social media except Instagram, and so I'm forced to have a different outlook about why I do it. This is kind of why all my bio and stuff is all first this, first that, technical marker this and that, because I don't feel like I can go viral. So my audience is kind of like the technical space, the historic framework, and how that plays out is anyone's guess. You can't rely on that. So what motivates me is I just imagine, what if you have this movie in your filmography? How proud are you going to be of it? And that's a real big motivator, because I want to be the person who just made that movie and who can look back on it and see each one is developing the technology, progressing, and telling personal stories that Hollywood couldn't make, or that they would take and they would neuter it and turn it into something really sterile and uninteresting. So I'm kind of motivated by, I kind of have a divine outlook that I'm looking upward at what it could be, the ideal.
That's cool. I think similarly. How about you, Gregory?
All right. Well, so I got started with feature film stuff where we did the T2 remake, right? Where it was like 50 different AI artists all did like a segment of AI that was part of the Terminator 2 movie. And so that was like the first real AI feature film, right? And we all had we had a Discord, and we all had fun making our own individual things. And in the end, even though it was like each section was its own completely different story, it was like a final product. And so that sort of like opened my eyes in terms of it's possible to do a feature film, but like the tools were difficult, really difficult early on, because like with Runway Motion Brush, it would take like 5 fucking minutes to animate a single video. And now it's just like you can drop it and you don't even have to type in a prompt, click enter, and you're going to get like a usable thing. So for a while, it was like the tech limitations that were holding us back. Now it's lip sync, but that's another story, right? The question was like, how do you brace yourself? How do you get prepared to be able to do a feature length thing? With me, it's always been about the audience, right? Like I'm of this mindset that what's the point of making something if no one's going to watch it? You could have unlimited original ideas, but if you don't have an audience for the material, then what's the point? So my goal with YouTube has been to create material that people want, which uses established IP. Like right now I'm doing Star Trek and Star Wars music videos and on all this stuff, right? So by building an audience through established IP, then you can make original content that's going to get views. So I started with Game of Thrones, right? Like I'm obsessed with Game of Thrones. After I finished reading the books, I wrote my own fantasy novel because I wanted more. And of course, everyone who's familiar with Game of Thrones knows that they dropped the ball in season 8. So I wanted to continue the story and show that the story could be continued in such a way that A, would be popular, and B, would be pitch material where I could somehow get it pitched to HBO and be like, I'm a screenwriter, this is an idea, I can be in the writer's room, right? So I made a short trailer, and it was really popular. And so I made another trailer, and it was really popular, like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of views on YouTube, and my YouTube tripled. So then I made a half-hour episode, and that is, like, by watch hours, one of the most watched AI videos of all time. It's like 1.3 million views times 34 minutes, right? And so I was like, all right, now I'm going to go all out. I'm going to make something even bigger. So the episode 2 of it was a feature movie. It was an hour and a half long. It took me 4.5 weeks. Like I had to write the 10,000 word script, and then I had to sample every voice. And like one of the longest processes is, well, this is getting into the nitty gritty. I think that's another question. But I was making feature films for the audience to try to get views. And like one of the other features I did a trailer that was 2 minutes of Snow White starring Samuel Jackson. And that got like millions and millions of views, and people really liked it. So I made some more trailers, and then I was like, you know what? I'm going to make the movie. And like Blacklight said, you have to be in a space where you're like, I'm willing to put everything else aside and spend weeks and weeks and weeks in a single project when you could be pumping out something different every day. And so I was like, all right, I'll do it. And I made a feature-length movie, The People v. Snow White. It was like a court drama comedy where Samuel Jackson Snow White is on trial for murdering the evil queen. And of course, you know, the thing is that the movies, they get way less views than like the 2-minute trailer got like 2.5 million views almost, right? But the movie got like 11,000, like 15,000 views because in the AI space, short form stuff sells better. That's why you have 30, the YouTube short, the ideal metric is 33 seconds for short. Write that down if you make YouTube shorts. You want to have your thing have a strong hook, and then shorts that go viral need to have an above 180% retention rate. There's like a whole science to the shorts, right? And it's like shorts, the short form content, the AI content, the stuff that people call slop is the stuff that the algorithm pushes out, the stuff that everyone sees. You log into TikTok, you flip, you see those shorts. And that's what gets the views. So as someone who wants to create long form content, you need to understand that there's not as much of an audience for it. So you have to build your own audience in order to get that audience. And by making things within the box of established IP, you can get a much more eyes. Like that's why Snow did so much better, because people like Game of Thrones. So like there's this balance, and it's funny because people that don't like AI will call out the slop, and they hate AI because all they see is slop, and then they'll hate on your thing that took you a month to make when other people made something in 10 seconds, and that's seen millions of times. So like there's a struggle in the long form content, and I feel like very slowly as the medium progresses and AI movies move towards more traditional cinematic views. You can play the Oscar music now. Let's just move on.
All right. Yeah, he knows I have Oscar music on standby for if they go on too long. And, you know, my finger was itching, but I'm trying not to use it.
Just stop
All
me.
right.
It's fun.
All right. Brian, how about you? What goes into your decision to do feature length?
Well, I mean, I'm a novelist by trade. I'm a long form storyteller just in my nature, and I have a real love of mythology and folklore, which is something that I'm always trying to read up on, and also, like, I guess you would call it comparative religion, because not to diss anybody's religion, but I look at that as, you know, myth transformed into human belief, more on a macro societal level. So it's funny to hear me talk like this when you've seen stuff that I make where it's like gingerbread men beating the shit out of Christmas gremlins. You know, but as a novelist, long form story, I look at myself as a narrative specialist. Filmmaking is new to me, although I'm a cinephile and have watched The Shining probably 1 billion times. But when I think about it currently, you know, when I was saying earlier that I was into my after my writing career bombed out early, I decided to just do entrepreneurial stuff, and it turned out I was quasi good at it. So after that I got very disillusioned with all of the people. I thought, well, now I want to do a business where I could do what I want, which is storytelling, but make money at doing so. So I launched the press that kept me kind of petering forward. And now I'm sort of looking at AI cinema as a new means of me to, one, entertain people. That's my core thing. I don't really think you're going to get Schindler's List out of this yet. So it's not that I wouldn't make something more serious, because my horror novels are like super grim. Like if you would watch like The Cheap and then read one of my novels, you would not believe it's the same storyteller. Because I like to dick around and make, you know, stupid jokes all the time.
Well, The Cheap was pretty ridiculous.
I appreciate that. It was supposed to be like, so when I sit down, I first say, okay, because I believe AI, like I said, you're not getting Schindler's List out of this currently. And so I say to myself, well, what are the strengths of AI? I believe spectacle is one of them. So I think to myself, okay, what is the dumbest thing I can put on camera? And then the next thing you know, I'm 2 months later, I've got the most ridiculous thing I could have possibly thought of. So that's
cool. See, I
that's
think
it in a nutshell.
I think you can get anything out of AI.
I
You're the
think
one making the most serious stuff. Gotcha.
I
Yeah.
think you're right. I think with if you learn how to use some of the better sinkers, but I think a lot of dramatic inflection is currently missing. When I say you can't get Schindler's List, you could get something that looks like Schindler's List, but I would like to see something that would have the dramatic
I think
meat.
it would take a lot of re-rolls. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
You talk about The Shining, Kubrick, what was it, 127 takes or something with her coming up the stairs.
Yeah.
You know, and AI filmmakers are like,
Kubrick was a pioneer of AI
5
filmmaking.
times. So,
It's funny that you say that because I call all my re-rolls new takes.
Yeah, so you
Okay.
combine the fact that you're doing a feature length with the fact that if you're gonna do some really emotional scenes where you need your actors to really, give you something that will work. Now you're talking about what most people will find impossible because most people don't want to spend that time to do that. But it's doable. I mean, and as far as the whole, we can almost, AI feature films, us storytellers, us writers, we knew you could make an I Am Legend back in 2023. You can make a Castaway. You can make a Martian. There are so many outside of the sci-fi stuff and outside of the anime. There's all these different. There's all these easier stories you can tell, but so I'm not. It's hard to get a. You can't really do that out of me as far as. What went into my decision to do this Muhammad Ali? Number one, I am often choosing. I haven't done just biographical films. Although, go ahead.
Allow me to correct myself. I said you're not going to get this out of it. I didn't say Tasha Caulfield is not going to get this out of it.
Well, yeah. I mean, But yeah. So. I like to do some biographical films outside of my IAXMans and outside of the 1984s and all that kind of stuff, because I like to learn right now about people who are great at what they do because I want to be great at what I do, and that's my way of learning the tools and stuff like that. Some choose to learn it with shorter clips. I want to learn it within what I do, number one, which is storytelling. That's all I know how to do. Number one, I don't even know if I know how to do something else. Well, I do. I've done it, but yeah. So with Muhammad Ali and me deciding, okay, I want to learn more about him. I thought I was making a, 20-minute film or whatever. I knew I wanted something that would take about 6 months or so because I did research on Da Vinci, which I thought about doing. And I was like, okay, I can finish this story in 2 months. I want something a little bit longer. I didn't know that you couldn't tell Muhammad Ali's full story under 4 hours. And when I told my brother that, he was like, yeah. And I was like, well, how can you never, I would have never chosen this guy if I knew his story was that long. So when I'm writing it, I'm constantly thinking, we're not wrapping this up anytime soon. We're not wrapping it up anytime soon. And it just, the achievement of this is that I got it to 2 hours. That's like the miracle. That's why his story hasn't been told in full, because it's so big and ginormous and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I got backed into it. I got duped by the GOAT. All right. So you got your idea. Oh yeah, but as far as I think you guys are 100% right. The mindset of going into okay, I'm about to make a feature-length film is the biggest thing. That is the hardest thing. And that's with traditional film too. You have to go, okay, I'm going to dedicate, in my case with Ali, at least a year to this. I'm going to dedicate a big chunk of my life. This is what I'm going to spend my life working on for quite some time. That's a huge commitment. So you want to know, is this story going to, hold my interest for that long? And am I gonna get halfway through it and be like, I don't really want to do this anymore and have nothing to show and all that kind of stuff. So you really want to choose something that you're like, okay, this is worth my time, and it'll hold my interest. And that's what is happening with me. All right, so you have your idea. You go, okay, I want to make a film about this. Where do you start writing wise? Do you guys write? I know, Brian, with your latest film, you didn't write a script.
Yeah, I don't script whatsoever.
Okay. Here's what I want, the public to know about this. Brian has been writing for a very long time. He's as bestseller book, stuff like that. Do not try this at home, kids, necessarily.
Hold on. My thing is this. I was actually having a conversation through DM with someone about this. It's a muscle that you can learn to flex, and I promise you. Just try it. Just try it.
Oh yeah. Okay. Here's what I would have said. Did you not have a script, or did you make the film while you were writing your script?
No, no script. So basically,
I mean, not write out the script, but I mean, like, you know, the improv thing. Like, technically, you were creating a story because you know how to tell stories,
right.
But you were creating the film while you were shooting the film while you were telling it. So in a way, you did have a script. It's just you were just creating the visuals while you were writing.
There's nothing written.
Okay, you're not buying it.
On day one, I don't know what it's going. I kind of have it. So basically, I'm going to break this down because I want to hear from others. Really quick though. In novel writing, there's a thing called plotting or pantsing. And Stephen King, for example, is a pantser. There are other authors who are plotters, meaning this happens, this happens, this happens, this happens. Plotters or pantsers like myself say, I kind of know that I want a scene at the end where they all fight or kill or whatever. Let's start writing. Then you channel your characters, hope they show up, and let them naturally unfold the narrative in front of you. So I look at with the generations coming down as sort of quasi storyboards where I'm seeing it as digital clay in real time. And it's like, wait a minute, the story goes cooler that way. Because my thinking is writing a script, because AI has some limitations, you may come to a brick wall where you're like, oh, crap. Whereas the reason I can do this so quickly is I see this unfolding in real time. And then when I get naturally to a brick wall and say, well, these guys are going to get shot or they're going to live, what do I pick? And then it's sort of like, choose your own adventure.
You let the video generator, if it shoots someone and the person lives, now the story is they live, or if they
funny enough, I have made narrative choices based upon generations I didn't expect. Yes,
I cannot believe you are admitting that out loud.
I don't care. Hey, I got thousands of pages worth of books to read. It doesn't matter to me.
He's gonna throw his whole career away on this thing.
No, not at all.
AI is like a monkey's paw, you can't, it's not a wishing well. You can't just get exactly what you want a lot of the time. So it's easier and an interesting workflow to just generate something and then allow those generations to dictate story. Why not? When you were saying Brian by pantsing, well, no, but well, sort of. I guess
what do you
actually.
Do?
Well, first off, I wanted to say that what you're saying, pantsing, is like it's writing by discovery, right? Where
exactly
you just see where the plot goes. And the trick to that, coming from a writer, is knowing your character, right? Like if you know what the concept of a story is, and then the loose structure, you have like just an idea of what happens in the beginning and what happens in the middle and what happens at the end. If you know your characters really well, then you can write that story by discovery, just moving through each scene where if you know what a character wants, what their goals are, what their motivations are, what the stakes are, what the level of urgency is, then you can just move through it scene by scene by scene and ensure that you're getting to point A, point B. And then when it comes to writing, whether it's a novel or a screenplay, writing is rewriting. You have to go back and then rewrite everything anyway. So ultimately there's a lot of merit to writing by discovery, to being a pantser, but it requires more work on the rewrite stage. Whereas if you plot really hard, then you don't need those rewrites because you already had the plots laid out. Instead, it's just rewriting for quality. But like you lose something special because you can find things that you wouldn't expect to discover as you write a story and you learn the characters better. Than just doing it in a plot, point A, point B, like paint by numbers, right? So this is like a whole argument in writing. When it comes to my scripts for AI, I don't approach AI in the same way as I do screenwriting. With screenwriting, I don't use AI. You write a story, and I've been doing it for a very long time, and it's completely separate, a whole different workflow. But with AI, I see it as, how can I make the best thing possible as quickly as possible? Because it's all about writing and doing AI as fast as possible. You need to pump it out there. So it's like I don't obsess over anything. I push through as quickly as possible, right? So with that, I write with the AI. And so what I've done for some of the projects, like for the people v Snow White, you teach the AI about your project. You create that giant outline. You explain everything. And then you don't use just one. Use Gemini, use Claude, use GPT, have multiple instances, and then tell the AI everything, all of them at the same time, and see what it spits out. And then pick and choose, have it write stuff, find language, right? Because writing is all about finding the right language. And the AI is just, it's not as good at screenwriting as it could be. And I think that's what sets people like Brian and myself apart slightly in the AI crowd, because most people are not writers, they're whatever, and they just get into AI and start taking off in the story direction. But people who are familiar with writing and with storytelling, intrinsically through years of studying the craft, have like that advantage, because if you have to rely on the AI for the story, it's not quite there yet. You know, you have to.
I agree with that 100%. I
Right,
think
how about you-
Yeah.
the
how about you,
differentiation
Blake?
here is real quick. The differentiation is if you have narrative in your storytelling ability, you're much stronger as an AI movie maker for sure.
Mhm.
Blacklight, on to you, buddy.
And I think it also helps too with the longer form. You're used to sitting at a desk, you know, for months on end, telling a story. Whereas if you're not used to that, it's tougher. All right, Blacklight.
Michael says hi from Hedra, by the way.
Who?
Michael from Hedra, the CEO.
Oh,
He keeps pinging me. I'm like, I'm on a live stream right now.
oh, he's on this live stream.
He might be watching. He was just messaging me.
Oh, cool.
Oh, well, shout out to Hedra. There should be a green light on Hedra that allows you to use no censorship for AI filmmakers, right?
That
We
should
wanna
be
make-
on every
right. Like,
platform.
well, I mean, Hedra has a strong censorship thing. Like, you used to be able to, you know, just drop it over and over and over again until it could work. Hedra's a program, by the way, for everyone, that's like one of the best lip sync programs out there, right? Like, I've used Hedra in a bunch of stuff. And there's censorship. It's like, oh, sorry, it looks too much like Samuel Jackson. He can't say it. You know, to like kind of shift gears. There should be like a green light for AI filmmakers. Just
I had an issue too. We're just gonna tell them our problems now. Well, yeah, okay. I'll just say censorship. I will. Thanks, Mike, for joining. Go ahead, Blacklight.
For me, I do like an outline, and then I also have like a ton of lore. So I have like a whole database of just like random facts about characters. And like, for example, in the most recent film, like there's timelines when certain things happen, and characters belong to certain parts of the timeline. And so I'll give outlines, give myself an outline of like what this overall story is going to be. And then each individual section of that, I kind of like play it loosely. I like the challenge of following a specific script, but there's sometimes you need to work around things, or like Brian mentioned, something else just looks better and can come out better. So you have to be able to pivot. So I liken it almost to like the filming style of like Curb Your Enthusiasm, where there's like a loose story and there's a loose outline that you're following, and there's certain guardrails within the story that you have to adhere to, but the way that you share those facts and you expand that story is pretty loose.
Have you killed off a character because AI killed him?
I've thought about killing off characters that people like.
I mean, just because the AI, you know, like they're dead now, you're like, oh, all right, let's.
On the cryptid dating show, so much murder, right?
So much murder. Yeah, I've thought about killing Damien many times, but I can't. People have videos of him dancing and stuff.
Damien's the dancing guy. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah.
I can't get rid of him. Everybody loves him, which is ironic because he's actually the hardest character model of all the weird characters that I've done. He's the hardest one to do anything with because he's so weird looking but so specific. To keep that specificity is like really challenging.
He reminds me of that guy from RoboCop. It's like I'd buy that for $1.
Yeah.
All right, how about you, Hooroo? Where do you start?
Well, AI writing, I don't cede authorship to it, but I use ChatGPT extensively in the workshopping of it. If you're looking at how the big publishers work, they're not just handing the assignment and then publishing it straight from their hands. They're going through editors, and ChatGPT is like you have an editor from the biggest publishing company, smarter, I think, because they said there's something like 300 IQ for these LLMs. So to
No
not
way.
utilize it, for the screenwriting, I think it's giving something up on the table, because I'll even hand it scenes if I'm working on a script and I want to write a scene, but I don't really care. I'll say, you do it, and it'll pop it out, and I'll say, okay, and I just put it in. And I don't think that's a problem. I think Marcel Duchamp settled this over 100 years ago in 1914. What he did was he went to the gallery and he put a toilet in the gallery. And it's one of the most famous works of art in history. And that settled this question forever of, is AI art? It's that the curation is the art. Andy Warhol with his tomato can is a painting. So how this relates is that AI is art, even if you're curating, even if you're just taking it wholesale and clipping it. This was settled in art history 100 years ago, 200 years ago. And it's like the antis have not studied history for 1 second, that these are not new questions about what is art. So I use all the AI tools exactly as I want. If I want it to do it verbatim, I'll do it. If I decide that it's not going to have its say, I'll do it my own way. And that's art. Collage is art. This is another thing. No one says, oh, collage is an art because you're taking clippings. These are all old questions that have already long been settled. So my thing is, we get it out the way that AI is art, that AI artists are artists, and what's ahead is extraordinary things. We can't even conceive a whole new movement of cinema,
All
of
right.
art. So
Okay, so from Hooroo, that's for those of you who want to use ChatGPT and all that, you got your support there. As far as my process goes, I don't use any AI or ChatGPT in my research or writing. I'm just not used to it. I wasn't trained that way. And given what I do a lot of, which is like a really heavy research, I don't trust a lot of it. A lot of it I have found to be inaccurate, and I have my reputation on the line once you start doing these Bruce Lees and all that kind of stuff. And you know, guys from Black Belt Magazine, journalists that have followed him for decades, you know, they write to me and they're like, you know, wow, like you got it, da da da, like I know what my like now, like the stakes keep getting higher and higher for if it's accurate. I can't put a quote on my page, you know, without checking did that person actually say it or not, because that's it. That's all I have to rely on. So, you know, where I start, for those of you who have been wondering, there are screenwriting books. Sid Field is like the guru, the guide. Anyone who in Hollywood who has ever written a script knows about him. I got his autograph when I was a kid. That's how much I cared about him. And, you know, he laid out the whole process as far as plot points and acts and where they all stand. What you want is you want to know what your protagonist wants, what stands in their way, how they try to overcome it, through obstacles, things like that. And the conclusion, Save the Cat, is another good one for punching up that script. You want to make your villain badder and all that kind of stuff, and just things that are wrong with it. And of course, Joseph Campbell's Hero's Journey. That's where you're going to get the outline for Star Wars and all that, which is in every film. The call to adventure, the refusal of the call, the meeting of the mentor, all of that kind of stuff, the innermost cave, and all these things that are built in and inherent in storytelling. Like
Tasha, can I tell you too, like it's good with the screenwriting because, as you know, like with the paid jobs that we get, they want you to submit scripts, and the script has to be in like the proper script writing format. So having that like background and structure is really helpful for bridging the traditional world into AI, because that's how they're used to working on projects. And so when we think in that same way that they're used to, and can deliver on a project with AI that way, that's what kind of helps lead into that. And that's something that I know that you and I have talked about previously before.
I think that's a good point, dude. Because one of the things that I have a friend who a film director in LA who I adapted one of his screenplays into a graphic novel. And when I told him I wasn't scripting with this stuff, he freaked out. He said, "What are you doing?" And then you got to realize, like, the script really is the Bible of all of the budget, all of the people. What scene are we shooting? You can't, like, if I walked on set and be like, "All right, we're just gonna make this the fuck up today," I'm fired immediately, right? So I understand the purpose of scripting, but for my purposes in having the pantsing skill, so to speak, like if I fuck up a scene, okay, it's a couple days. I got to go back and fix it with, other than my generation fees, what does it cost me to experiment? And so that's sort of my point with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my scripts are like very, like, I don't necessarily put them, like the dialogue, I'll just put check. I'll still do it in all caps, but I don't put everything in. Like the short I'm working on now where the guy, it's really bright. I don't think you can see it, but he still has, I'm working on that out of like very, very clear guidelines, which is he's a writer. So of course, and he wants, he's going to put it that way. But what I'm writing just for myself, I have a little bit more leeway to not put it in that. You get the timeline. This is Ali, which is very complicated. So
how long is it?
What?
I was going to say, how long are the scripts that you generally write?
It's got to be like 150 fucking pages because of all the dialogue and voiceover narration and everything. It's going to be crazy.
Well, since I made it tighter, so you have like, it's all on one line, the dialogue opposed to...
Well, it's just for you, so it doesn't matter. There's no... Like you were talking about before about how you learned that you shouldn't use camera direction because that would be like a director script versus
a now I can use camera
but you're the director. You're the entire thing. You're everything, so it's just like a director script, really.
Yeah. And when I went to film school, I went for directing for production, by the way. But so you get to write it. You can write the script however you want as far as making sense to you go. And I'm answering it this question in this way because people specifically asked about like, what goes into it? How do you start? Where do you start? Whether I'm doing, you guys saw my research for 1984, including the original transcripts. Oh
my gosh.
Oh,
are those handwritten?
Yes, this is Orwell's original transcripts.
It's like infinitely more work than I do for AI.
This is him, and this is the typed version on the side. But and then all his other books that he wrote and everything, because I need to understand every choice he made. And with like Iaxman, I'm researching the Nigerian gangs. I'm researching counterfeiting, all that kind of stuff. With Mr. Anime, the broadcaster yourself, I did a course in psychology with the University of North Dakota to better understand that. For that and for this Hangman thing that I did, but I did that last year. And just, so I do extensive research, which I guess I'm kind of known of. Of course, you guys know the Ali stuff. And so when I'm reading all of that, I'm taking notes as I read. And so you see on each page what everything is. And then I'm putting it on timelines, everything that happens.
See, you're doing like a full hybrid process. Because I feel like you're doing shit that none of us even come close to doing, where it's you're mixing the entire process of traditional filmmaking.
I wouldn't even know how to tell Muhammad Ali. I wouldn't even know how to write without doing all of, like, I don't even know how to write. Like the stories I'm telling, I wouldn't know how to tell them without doing all of that research.
Well, in fairness, what you're doing is so complicated. Because you make biopics, right? So there's like a real.
Well, I don't just make biopics.
I know, but I mean like about like a real person, right? So there's like real. You have to approach it with the level of seriousness because people will take it seriously. You can't just have like some silly scene.
Well,
with Muhammad Ali,
but it's the same with all of my stuff. Like even with Iaxman, I'm talking about the scammers and things like that. But I'm also taking notes as I read and write and watch documentaries, things like that. I'm also, there's a credibility to all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's different because I like the short film that I'm doing for UAI artists that I'll put out next month. It's a story that's just, you know, completely made up, that doesn't have to rely on any external, like, you know, are they really like that, or is, you know, da 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 da, Mr. Anime, you know, like, it doesn't, you know, it's completely all made up. So, and it's a lot easier. It definitely is a lot easier.
Do you enjoy the creative freedom of not having to color in the box of someone else's life?
With the short film?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I like breaks. like that's why I did the Dave Chappelle thing. Sometimes I want to break from.
That was a really cool video.
Thank you. You know, yeah, I definitely like breaks because it's intense. So I do like that, and it's so easy. Well, like in comparison, I'm like, wow. All right. So you guys have a story, how your approaches to story, things like that. Tools. Okay, wait, not before, as we talk about tools, what's going on your editing timeline first?
I'm music.
Music.
I compose my scenes to music.
And what's going second?
Whatever, you know, I try to follow, like, I know I have normally for the day I know what the scene is going to transpire. And then I just sort of follow those beats. And then once I have a draft down of, you know, the main beats, I'm like, okay, now we need to see their feet. Because one of the things that I do notice, and maybe you guys could even back me up on this, because I said I come from, I envision it in my head and I write it on paper writing. So having this candy in front of me is a new treat as far as a storyteller is concerned. And because I read about cinema and things of that nature, and I just like to know. I used to read behind the scenes magazines and all this stuff because filmmaking has always fascinated me. But one of the things that I do notice is I think a lot of people could benefit from, including myself, by the way, filmmaking 101. Like, there was this thing I was watching the other day where the guy didn't seem to understand what an establishing shot was. So like he would bring it into this, like, I remember somebody was sitting at a cafe drinking, and then it flashed out to the cafe. And at first I thought, oh, this is like a cool artsy, like, I don't do establishing shots.
Right, like, why start on the inside and then go to the outside?
And then I realized, like, oh shit, like,
they just don't know it.
It's like that. I mean, look, break the rules, do whatever the hell you want. But I think that there's some semblance of, for example, one of the things that I learned from my filmmaker friend when I was making The Cheap is I didn't know about crossing a line, meaning camera A, camera B. I was like switching all over the place, like just wherever the talk and like, yeah, that's a cool angle. He's like, dude, that is the most rookie ass shit I've ever seen in my life. So now I understand that it's not that you can't break that rule and cross the line, but you better have a good goddamn reason for it, because narratively the user is like, what's happening in this scene? Like, it's not a good way for an audience.
Yeah, for those who don't know what an establishing shot is, it's basically the shot that gives you the overview of the environment. It kind of lets you know where everything is within that space, whether it's a living room or whatever, where the people are within that space. And then you could move in on close-ups and medium shots and things like that. But once people know where they're at, the story's a lot easier to follow. And it's a great, it's a great thing for AI filmmaking to, you know, all you need is that one shot, and then it's so much easier to tell that scene once you get that big, hey, this is where everybody is. So like even with 1984, when he's in the room with O'Brien and there's that whole torture scene, you know, you have basically one big shot. I do a couple more than one, but basically one shot just to show, okay, he's in this bed thing, and O'Brien is standing over him or whatever, and then it could just be them talking the whole time or whatever. You want to get a little bit more creative with it, but the establishing shot is huge. You want to let people know where they're at, and then you can kind of push in on people talking and stuff. Go ahead, Gregory.
No, I was going to say, I think the best way to show an establishing shot is it's the Corellian Corvette being chased by the Star Destroyer at the beginning of Star Wars, before it cuts into the Corellian Corvette with the alarms going off. You need to see the ship flying through space. That way, when the scene changes to inside the ship, you know, oh, okay, that's right, what we're inside. As opposed to seeing people panicking, and then you see the ship flying. Like, which is fine, I guess, from an experimental way, which is what Brian was saying. Like, he's viewed what they were doing differently instead of, yeah. But anyway, I think it was like, what do I do first? What's the order?
Yeah, what goes on your editing timeline first?
Okay, so it depends on the project. If it's a music video, my process is figure out what it is, then write the lyrics, then make the song, then create the structure, then make the images, then animate them, then edit, right? If it's something that has dialogue, like say Cinderella starring Keanu Reeves, right? That's first concept first, right? Then next the script, because there's going to be dialogue. So I need to have all of the dialogue stuff. Then it's on to 11 Labs. Make sure I have the voice, create the audio for all of the dialogue. Then once I have all of that, I open up my editor and I drop in all the audio and I create the sound file of just the voices, leaving blank spots for everything. Then once I have a full track where all the audio, the dialogue is cleaned up, no sound effects, just the dialogue, then I took that, and I guess this workflow is dead now, but I would use Udio. And painstakingly, I would make the Udio song, like editing every 15 seconds, changing things around so that the music corresponded and flowed with the dialogue, right? Like I did a movie where it was 84 minutes long. A whole week of that was the Udio, because it was just very slowly piecing it together. But Udio doesn't let you download their music anymore, right? So I'll have to figure out another way. But basically, once I had the music, then it's on to everything else, the images, the editing. And then sound effects last, because you need to have the video, right?
Yeah. How about you, Hooroo?
I always start with performances. Performances are my passion, directing actors. But instead of actors, it's machines now.
But on your editing timeline, what goes on your editing timeline first?
Oh, the acting.
So the visual.
No, just the raw audio of the acting.
Okay.
So the actors are my attitude about this is that if your movie can play with no visuals and no music, and it's compelling, and you're listening to it like a radio play, it's gonna work no matter what the visuals are, no matter what the sounds are. So I always try to get it right first, just on the performance timeline, and that's what I do. That's what I start with to get it playing out, and then I do the visuals. So 1 is performance, 2 is sound and music, and 3 I do the visuals last. So that's how I do it.
Yeah, that's my process too. Dialogue goes on first, music second, then visuals and sound effects.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Wait, how do you do it again, Tasha?
Dialogue first, spacing it out according to how people are talking and things like that. And then I put the music, and that, music also helps too sometimes to let you know how long shots need to be or things like that. Even though technically I create all of the music without going back to, create all the visuals without touching my timeline. Once I lay the dialogue, that lets me know how long the whole thing is, one. And then the music, that lets me know how long. And then I basically never look back at my editing timeline until I'm done with the visuals. Although I'm rethinking that. But I usually create, I basically go into production and I create all the shots and the visuals and the videos and everything. And then I bring it all into the editing timeline. And then
what do you use for lip sync?
We'll get to that in a second because I want to know what you guys use too. Blacklight, how about you? What goes on your editing timeline first?
Images.
Wow, we're all over the map.
That surprises me. I wouldn't expect that from you.
Okay.
I usually have music playing in the background, but I use my timeline for images to block out the scenes first and know
before animating them.
Before animating,
you put the images in the editor,
actually the images.
And create the structure of the story with the images. I've seen other people do that. I
know
also
other people
that do that too. That's really interesting.
When I see it in a row, it helps me know what I need to change because I do a lot of in and out painting. And so if I know that these are my characters and then this is my location, I can take the character backgrounds out and superimpose them into the locations in different angles and in different spots, and then take a new image of that I've created after I've put the characters in the locations, and then I'll animate those.
Right.
So
So
like
you
it's
create
almost
the
like I take
storyboard.
all of my
Yeah.
characters and locations and put all of the images in first and say, okay, this first section is in the forest, this next section is in this city, the next section is this building, and where are each of the characters at? And then I'll put the characters in those places, and then I'll animate those. And like I'm doing this while I'm listening to music, and then now it's easier with lip sync, so I just do the dialogue and everything in the prompting for the video clips. And then once I put all those in there, then I export all the audios. I make 2 versions of them. I remove all the background sounds in one row, and then I remove all the voices in another row. And then I take the voice only row and I mute the other row. And then clip by clip, I do voice to voice in 11 labs. And then I'll do the soundtrack after that, and then the sound effects after that.
You know, storyboarding with images is probably the better way to do it, really. Like, it feels like it's more work skipping to that
It's a
step.
lot more work.
But like, you know, you'll see I'm missing this, I'm missing that. This scene doesn't have enough of this. I need to nano banana this shot, right? So it's
You also
like
have to
that,
think too, like we live in a world of like short attention spans. So to have people watch a long piece, like think about a single clip. We look at an 8-second clip, you're usually like going to snip a couple seconds off of that. But it doesn't take you, 3, 4, 5 seconds to look at the same thing. So most people on social media have shorter attention spans. So if you give them multiple things to look at in a scene, and their eye can naturally travel across the scene through a film, you're keeping them engaged more than just what's actually happening in the scene, but also like what's happening in the background, or what's like this living environment that they're in. Like, what are the cues that they see visually that keep them engaged beyond just the dialogue between characters?
Yeah, that was another question. Do you guys adjust your filmmaking for social media distribution? Because of course, if you're telling something and you know it's going to be at a theater where people are going to sit and you have their undivided attention, and it's hard for them to use their phones or be like, all right, or watch it on their phones. So Blacklight is saying, to compensate for what he feels are shorter attention spans, he creates more information within the frame. I know some people
dancing guy.
use quicker cuts. Dancing guy in the background. No.
The quicker cuts, though, I had people complain really early on that it gives them headaches.
The quick cuts.
Super quick cuts. And there's a lot of filmmakers that like it looks really good. But the only thing that short cuts like that are good for are action scenes with AI or a trailer. But anything where you need to have a scene breathe.
Well, what about music videos?
Music videos, sure. I mean, to a beat, yeah, like that makes sense, right? But like I'm talking about like 21-second clips or 20 half-second clips. You know what I mean?
You mean for like a scene in that it was like a cinematic movie as opposed to
your brain just doesn't process that fast. And so like it looks cool visually, but like the person who's watching it, it's just a wash, because your brain, it takes a couple seconds to like visually understand what they're looking at. And for me, it's even harder because I have really weird ass characters. So like people want to look, and like your brain has to try to make these impossible things like make sense.
It's also tough because AI clips, it's hard to make them longer and keep that same consistency, right? So
and I think that's a skill and a flex to show off. Like for a scene to be able to breathe and for no dialogue to happen, but an action scene to happen. Like I had a moment in Whispers where Darkins comes up behind Dr. March. And so the door opens behind her, and then there's no talking, and he just puts his hand on her shoulder. Now, any woman would know that a man in a superior position in a workplace, that happening to them is like a creep moment. And she has this moment of like just repulsiveness and like exhales. There's no dialogue in that scene at all. But
how long is the shot?
Huh?
How long is it?
It's probably 12 seconds. And then
what-
after that happens, he walks over and starts having dialogue. But
so I
that
need to
whole
ask, what did you use to get 12 seconds? Sorry, like, because
I
you know,
just I use like 2 clips and I'll keyframe the last frame. And actually I don't even keyframe the last frame. What I'll do is I'll look at a clip, and after like there's natural cadence in speak, right? And there's usually about 200 milliseconds between you saying something and somebody else replying. That's like natural, is 200 to 300 milliseconds. Anything longer than that is too long. And so I'll take a clip and say the person says something, and I have like 2 seconds left on the clip. I'll go like a minute and a half in, and I'll screenshot that image and then cut the clip and then use that as the starting frame. And it's almost just keeps everything like super fluid and in motion. And when you get the new clip, usually you have to snip off the first couple milliseconds because there's no movement happening. And so for a scene, when you put those two together and you don't take out those middle pieces, what it looks like is action, stop, and then action again. And it's really hard to like smooth through that. It's a very manual process. And that's one thing that like I can tell AI agent videos.
Oh no.
Ah,
I
what
got
happened?
Well, he was he was gonna say that agent videos are ones where it's like edited by agents. Oh, here
This
good.
Oh,
is
sorry.
good.
that
I have no idea what that was.
start stop.
Yeah, you just dropped.
No, the agent videos, you can tell that it's an agent video because it has those moments of just like, it's like a jitter, almost like a TV jitter, and you can tell.
Yeah, no, exactly, because it's the AI doesn't know how the motion was going because it has no context, right, with the keyframes.
And now it's cool though, because with VO you can actually extend frames, and it is doing essentially this already, and it will not only carry the scene forward with ambient background, but will also carry forward any of the sound elements. So I had a scene last night where there was music, and the music played into the next scene, and then like it sounded like a tape stopped, and it actually works perfect for the scene, and it was all generated because of a scene extension.
So now that was VO3, and you took the output, and then you clicked add to storyboard, right?
Yep.
And then inside add to storyboard, there's the extend scene button.
Exactly.
And so you just type in a prompt, and then it continues.
And so that'll only work with text extensions, and you may lose style consistency. So I don't even sometimes use that. I'll just take the clip, move it into the editor, and then I'll edit it manually and take the screenshot of that frame that I want to use and then put it back in.
Is that new with VO3? Sorry, because that
3.1, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Because I remember that not working. It was like VO2 only.
Yeah,
now,
I do
now
it super,
okay.
It's like super manual and tedious. And I think that's like one thing that I don't think a lot of people realize is like a project like that any of us have done is like 300, 400, 500 hours or more. I mean, in Tasha's case, with all the research, thousands of hours of work that goes into these projects. Seriously, like you don't realize when you're making a 3-minute scene that it takes 8 to 12 hours because you're literally having to create every single second, and it has to be curated in a way that is entertaining and like passing. And that's a high bar for people. The internet is ruthless. People don't give a shit. Like, and that's why I think it's hard to like get out of the bubble and really focus on winning people over outside of the bubble, because those people will always give you brutally honest truth, you know, whether you want to hear it or not. But that's where you learn the most, like what hits, what doesn't hit, what works.
I think people outside of the AI film community are actually more forgiving of the tech than people inside of it. They're more focused on, at least in my experience, they're more focused on story. People have asked me for DVD. Jesus Christ.
I don't know. I'm so sorry, you guys. I don't know why it keeps happening.
I don't know why it keeps happening either.
You said too much.
I know.
Okay, so I'm going to try to move you guys back in the order I'm used to.
What were you going to say before, Brian?
Oh, I was just, one of the things about what Blacklight was just talking about. I was trying to accomplish a 2.5-minute one take just for kicks, you know.
How?
And
like,
exactly how. And so I was using VO and I was using this basically the same technique that he was talking about, where you could extend scene or grab a clip from the back of it. And what I realized was there is facial and color drift. So I got it. It was a character walking forward basically for 2 seconds. And if you watch it, it looks okay. If you watch the last clip and the first clip, this guy looks nothing like this guy whatsoever. And the colors are just fucked. So like what I did was I ended up keyframing the scene by taking the last of everything and then grabbing this character and then putting him in the last scene again. So each bit by bit by bit, at least for that 8 seconds, it was the same dude. So now I have a congruent scene all the way through.
Right. The same thing happens too if you have your character facing and then they turn away.
Oh,
You just
forget
lost
it.
the context.
Because one of the reasons he kept aging is he says the word elf and he puts his head down, and every time he would turn his head up, he was like 50 years older. I'm like, no, come on, man.
Did you guys see this? I don't remember who did it. It was on X. Someone did like a 3-minute video that was like some chick in cyberpunk on a train, and like she drove through the city, and they did that where first frame, last frame, they did the video that would take the last frame of the video and use that, and except they were doing it in Mid-Journey video.
Interesting.
And like it kept the consistency really, really strong, but it clearly drifted a bit. So like eventually they had to cut it. It was like a minute and a half in, and then start over with another Mid-Journey image made from the original character.
I wanted to throw out a question too. Maybe you guys know how to solve this, because I have a horrible problem with keyframe clicking. Now I try to get around this through.
Explain to the new people.
So for example, if you watch, you'll see it. One of the worst examples, not to call out my own shit, but who cares, right? One of the worst examples of it, if you watch Pumpkin Patch, where there's 2 cities, one's an apocalyptic city and the other city's like this. So the camera pans, and when it gets, so it's like click, 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 like, so each keyframe, because it doesn't have the natural motion of a camera.
So I have a suggestion for this.
Give it to me, please.
Okay, so what I did is, cause I did this a while ago, right? I did it with a Dragon Ball Z movie where I wanted to make a full little thing. It ended up being 7 minutes. That was keyframes the whole way through, right?
Yeah.
And so I had that problem with the clicks. What I did is when the movement, like motion shifts, right? I would cut those and then make that a compound and then adjust the speed. So you
like easing in and easing out, basically.
So you speed it up in the transition, and that like makes it more fluid.
I have a friend, like there was one that I was trying to do this really cool long shot in there too. And there was one, and I sent it to a buddy of mine who's like, he edits for like the Oscars and stuff like that. And he's like, dude, no clue, you're fucked. I'm like, okay, then I'll just cut to the tires. So ta-da, fixed.
Yeah, but no, the speeding it up, like finding that keyframe part and then speeding it up, because if you cut too much, then it's going to jump because the image is too different, right? But if it's sped up, then it's like, you'll see if you try it, it eases it a bit. Like
I've messed with, I've had some success with cross dissolve. What I don't like right now is
cross dissolve. Yeah, right.
Blacklight has this grin on his face where he's like,
he has the answers to all the.
He's got the I know how to fix that shit. Look at that face. That is a guilty face, my friend. You don't have to answer. I
don't have these struggles.
Tricks. Tricks, my man.
No, you're explaining the answer, so I don't have to say anything. So yeah.
Right. But one of the other things that I find too is there's certain times.
Well, actually, let me just stop you real quick, Brian, because that's like, most people don't do that. Like they'll just back the 2 clips together, even though
that's the start stop.
Yeah, and they just back it up into each other, and they don't do it, or like the speed ramping is a super weird timing. So it's I think when you do something like that, or like what Gregory's mentioned, when you speed ramp through it, and everybody who does that, because that's the way that you fix it,
Yeah.
So it's when you see it, you're like, oh, I know. And it almost sometimes takes you out of that, where like you said that you just go to the shot of the tires.
Yeah,
that's almost more believable, because your brain, if you're working in real time and then you see a speed ramped clip, anyone that's a creator knows that that's a transition. So you might as well just do a hard cut transition to a new scene if it's not natural. And there's been times where I'll rerun the first clip because the animation is too fast to try to make the speed difference less than they are. Like everyone gets in the thought process that like the first clip is what you have to match. Well, no, if you have a really good second clip, rerun the first one a few times. Like you'll often get animations that are matched closer. And then worst case scenario, you just create a short keyframe in there in like Pika or something to just fill in the gap.
You know, it was also a really good workflow someone did. I don't know if you guys saw it. I don't remember who did it. It was D&D Tavern, right? And it was VO3, or at the time, VO3, well, no, whatever. It was VO3 clips, right? And then they took the first frame and last frame of the two VO3 clips that were next to each other, and then used Hooroo 3.2 or whatever it is
Very
as
good
the keyframe. And the transitions of that are beautiful. Like Hooroo is the ultimate keyframe connector right now. So it's like I have a bunch of ideas for videos like that where it's like do the VO3, have it similar locations, and then Hooroo the transition from keyframe to keyframe, because Hooroo transitions are really, really, really strong.
I
so
still think it's
Hooroo.
an easing out problem.
Tools. Speaking of tools, since we're on tools, let's talk about what we're using. I know you asked about lip sync. I use pretty much everything. So, you know, as you guys have probably know, a lot of the issues with shorter clips on places like X and things like that is a lot of those tools don't lend themselves to longer form storytelling. So like, you know, people send me text to image, text to video prompts, a lot of like boxing or things like that. And it's like, yeah, you know, but I'm telling a story and I need not just the cinematography, but I also need the characters to, you know, be the same. I got 3 different people that are consistent characters that need to be in that shot. I have to use image to video. And then we're talking about, you know, sometimes they're kids and then a great generator doesn't use that kid or doesn't allow for children. We won't name which one. Or we're using likenesses, celebrity likeness, and I'm working with stuff. So there's a lot of different limitations. So it's hard for me to say exactly which one I'm using. You know, I can lip sync as far as what I like a lot there, at least with this current one, what I'm working with a lot. Sync is pretty good, but you know, they struggle with a bunch of people in scenes, and I have different people talking to each other. I have you know, groups of people in scenes. My characters aren't all just one person talking, which are a lot of the samples. You know, you have that. So then you're, you know, VO and WAD and those where you type in what the character is saying. A lot of those might figure out which character you're talking about when you say this character says it. Sometimes they don't. So sometimes that's not an option. What's another, oh God. It starts with like a, I can't remember, but there's one, you know, the ones that let you pick this character and that character, that's, you know, they might not be the best tool, but they're like the tool that I need in order to achieve the fact that this is the person talking or not. So I'm jumping around. Oh, design, I think lets you pick which character, DZINE. And you know, Kling lets you do it, but of course they're not as great. So you get different things, and you work with what you have. You can know VO might give you a better result, or WAN might give you a better result, or Sync, or Pixverse, or whoever you like. But that's that. As far as video goes, I'm finding that Seed Dance gives you the best cinematic look right now. You know, for Ali, I'm trying to use a lot of them for the short film that'll come out next week. I'm using mostly Clean because that's the only company that I've accepted credits from. So I'm just like, okay, and they do a pretty good job. But Seed Dance is by far for me right now the best. And this is none of these age well. These conversations when you name specific tools because. You know, interviews that I gave 3 months ago, I'm saying a different one and da 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 da.
Well, Dance is pretty sick.
Yeah, it is. Start with Mid-Journey. You know, if Leonardo will accept the image as similar, especially when I'm working with people who need to stay the same, who need to kind of look the same, then I will run it through image to image with Leonardo to get more of that cinematic look. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they'll change the person too much. And so I have to stick with a slightly lower quality mid-journey image, but the goal is to get you to know who the person is that you're watching, to remember, okay, that's the person. It's always which one will let you tell the story. You don't, and that's kind of the thing. What about you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I used pretty much everything last month for Whispers, and having to like pull when you need something is like super helpful. Like when you want to have certain character models too, like we've come so far in a year, but there's still so much like manual work that goes into what you want to even accomplish. Like I even finish my film sometimes, I'm like, I'm not satisfied with this. Like it's good, but it's not anywhere near where I even want it to be yet. But I'm not gonna let the quality or where I'm at capable wise be the thing that stops me from releasing something. I see a lot of people just get like so in their heads about putting themselves out there to create something. Like it's one thing to be an influencer and like to like put yourself out there as a person. Like we see like Tech Holland people who like make themselves the characters in their examples and stuff. We're all storytellers. We want our stories to speak for us, not be the ones that are doing the speaking. And so that takes a lot of like thought and practice and like work to do that. And it's a lot harder than just like going on and talking about it. You're almost like sharing knowledge through lessons. And isn't that what storytelling is, right? Like we go back to narratives and allegories all the time. And I think when people understand those meta narratives from the work that you're creating, it's like super powerful. And so to have a limitation on that and feel that you're limited by tools is like really frustrating as a creator. And so that's why almost like I feel greedy sometimes. I'm like, I need to use everything because I need to figure out how I can get this shot. And I like get upset when I can't work around that.
Like
and
walking
so you kind of
and
reach
talking.
where you have to go.
Yeah,
Walking and
I
talking, the simplest thing in actual filmmaking, but with AI, forget about it.
I show everybody the
A handle.
Yeah, no
Pulling a
AI
lever.
West Wing.
Pull a lever.
I'll be honest with you, probably the best thing that I accidentally did for myself, because like I said, I kind of happened into this filmmaking aspect, was creating graphic novels first, because what I learned through doing that was
Storyboarding.
how to composite. If everything you see of mine is a composite, that way I can get as close to what I'm seeing in my silly little narrative.
What do you mean by composite?
In the sense of I never take what the AI gives me, never. So if I want to, sometimes obviously the videos, because you're stuck with that, but I'm talking the original image source. When you see a start scene of for example, I'm doing Red Nose 2 right now, and there's Krampus in a hot tub. That entire scene is composed of the background with the hot tub in the floor, Krampus then put into it, and then the people in the hot tub with him.
Wait, are you using Nano Banana to...
Oh my God, Nano Banana saved Pumpkin Patch, legit, because I don't know what happened, but Mid-Journey around mid-August started spitting, because I love Mid-Journey. I'm still a Mid-Journey head. I know people have problems with, but I love the company.
But
B7 started spitting out these plasticky, weird, artificial-looking characters out of nowhere, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, these look like mannequins. So I would then put it in Nano Banana and be like, can you please make this look like a real
What's wrong
human?
with mannequins?
Say what?
Yeah,
I should have just gone with my no script and be like, now it's a mannequin film, ladies and gentlemen. It's a mannequin film. But I composite everything.
LM Arena is good too for that comparison, because sometimes Nano Banana is the best one, but sometimes
Sea Dream is incredible,
or sometimes Sea Dream is, and it'll kind of have you compare that. If you go make this hyper realism, and 8K, like a lot of times you might get a different result. But
Nano Banana 2 coming out real soon.
When? Because I use Hegsfeld a lot because it has I like the pool of tools. I'm like Will, I like to go through. I'm Kling, Minimax, VO, thanks to Blacklight, who recommended VO to me on a project I couldn't solve. He's like, you better use VO. I'm like, I don't wanna. And then I did. I'm like, oh, now it works. So I felt kind of silly, and I've been a VO head ever since.
Well,
But-
Ultra has that unlimited fast, which is crazy good.
You're talking my language now, buddy.
Yeah, baby.
But through Hegsfeld, I liked, because then I could experiment with WAN or Seedream and all of the other ones. I love Hegsfeld as a thing. But Seedream and Nano Banana have saved a lot of prompting time, because I can go and say, can you give me a back angle of this room taken from the perspective of this character standing here? And it'll pretty much give that to you. So now
It's your
you have
A/B shot solution.
Exactly. And
Well,
so
the
that's
second one's
why-
coming out soon too, and it's not going to be called Banana. It's going to be like Gigamelon or something.
Well, I
But
can't wait for
I-
Gigamelon. I'm in.
Actually, Imogen 4 does better for text and other video editing, and I used it more often than Nano Banana last month. And because Nano Banana, when you have to remove something and then put stuff in. If you do just like a replace, it's like very challenging. And the more times you iterate that same image, the worse the quality of the image becomes with Nano Banana. So for a one shot, like take this out, put this in, super easy. If you have to do that 4 times on the same image, it looks like a totally different image at the end. And for
I like to run the Nano Banana. So we're creating, at least in my, we're creating a mid journey. We're getting some different angles from Nano Banana, and then I'll put those Nano Banana images through Leonardo to kind of get back that cinematic look. And then you're upscaling in like Gigapixel or Topaz or something, and then taking it to a video generator, and then upscaling in Topaz Video again. What about you?
Level 2, man.
Yeah.
Hoover, what's
You
in
like
your bag?
tools? I don't use tools.
I don't need your
Oh.
stinking
He's so
tools.
contrarian.
Sorry, I didn't hear. The tools that I use are Minimax, Kling, and I do first frame, last frame a lot. And for that, there's a project. There's a company called it's V something. Vdo. And I fuse a lot of first frames and last frames to get those 1 minute. You said 2.5 minutes. I don't have anything like that, but I have a 1 minute shot, and I just stitch them together with first frame and last frame. And when there's a drop off in color, I just go and do aggressive color correction. And it's not going to be perfect, but I have a real classic cinema outlook of this. When you watch early silent films from 100 years ago, I feel that's where we are in the technology, and you can see the cut when you're watching those films. You can see the lips not matching perfectly, and we don't see it as a flaw because we see it as charming. So I kind of have a kind of nostalgic view of the limitations of the technology that I embrace. So I don't sweat it too much when it's not perfect.
It's funny you say that, because I sometimes leave some of the AI in there because I try to clean it, but every now and again I'll leave little AI signatures in because I think it's kind of cute that the AI did something stupid. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
Okay.
If it's funny, if it made me laugh, it's staying.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like Summer, it's just like, in the Ali one, the guy shoots him and he just like explodes or whatever, which is like no one dies from a gunshot like that, and it's like it's staying because it's funny. It made me laugh. I mean,
that's
I'm
a really
creating.
poetic way to look at it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm creating. I mean, the only reason why anybody does anything is to feel good, to be happy, to feel joy, and it brings me joy. I don't give a fuck about what you guys are on. Like, I'm just like, this makes me laugh. This is funny. I mean, and you can judge it however you want, but yeah, I don't care.
I did an episode for like Ken's coffins and wedding services, and like one of the scenes, the lady was like talking about it, and I put it in VO with like a certain script, and all 3 of them did it. And then there was this one random clip where she didn't say anything at all, and she's just sitting here and she's like, "Yup, this burrito is delicious or something like that. And I'm like, what the fuck is this clip? And I literally built the scene around that special random one-off clip just because it was so funny in the context that I was like, I have to use this.
I feel like I saw something like that in Gregory's latest or your film with the Vietnam
Apocalypse Meow.
Yeah, where they're looking at the shoes like Tupac and the other guy, and the guy says something, and there's this long pause, and Tupac is just like, "Yep," like I'm like that had to be a joke for him.
For example, when we were talking earlier about how sometimes I'll see something and it'll change my narrative decision. One of the things that happened in my thanks, nobody knew that I was doing this yet, because I think I got 29 views on this video when I posted it last year. But it was Tough Turkey, and there was a scene that I wanted where all three of their brothers run out the door to go confront the colonial turkeys who are trying to kill them. And for whatever reason, I had set the handsome guy in blue was supposed to be the whole lead of this story, and for some reason it kept sending the fat brother out the door, like in red. I'm like, oh, so I'm like, you know what? You're the star of the show. Boom, here we go. So that entire guy, if you watch that, is a much better protagonist because he's sort of dopey and like always tough on his luck or whatever. And had the AI not refused to do what I wanted, I would have had to make a different narrative choice. So I think kind of going with the flow.
You pantsed your way into it.
I pantsed my way into it, man. You know, now I've got a star that I didn't intend on because I didn't know how to prompt for something a year ago, you know?
I was talking with someone and they said, you know, making an AI film is like working with a 4-year-old, like directing with like telling them and like trying to get them to direct your film for you and telling them what to do and stuff like that. So yeah, it's
the difference being you don't normally curse at a 4-year-old.
Yeah, but they might come up with something funny or cute or whatever, and you're just like, it reminds you that you're playing. And that's one of the reasons why I liked Damien Packer's John Carpenter, because it was brilliant, but it also like had all the, like, it just, you know, it didn't take itself so seriously. And I think inherently built into the AI art is that it's like you can't take it if you can, but we'll be able to tell. It won't be interesting. It'll be kind of boring. Like, at least that's what I'll get. Like, the energy of it will be kind of boring. But if you don't take it that seriously, because people know it's not real. Like, you don't need to try to make it look that real. people know it's not real. I don't care how much you try to work it.
Like, leaning into the impossibleness of it. Like, if you're just trying to recreate movies, you're not going to be super successful, because then people will nitpick. Oh, nope, that you're trying to make it look perfect. It's not perfect, and it's like, okay. But then when you don't
into the glitch,
then you get all pissed, right? But when you don't rely on that, and you're like, yeah, this is AI, and then they're just like, it's a lot easier to just be a pill to swallow.
Well, I've noticed the same thing. Audiences, if you make something that's funny where you lean into it, they appreciate it more than trying to take it seriously. Like, it insists upon itself.
You know, it's funny. The reason why I started to do animals was because I wasn't satisfied with the lip syncing and early on. So I anthropomorphized everything, because I'm like, you can't tell me that's not what a talking donkey looks like, because we don't see that, you know? So, and only with Pumpkin Patch did I feel comfortable enough with the tech to start using people.
That's his shot at Pumpkin Patch, just like 19 minutes in, where a character just goes like, or whatever. Yeah. All right, which resources are you guys using?
Well, I just wanted to just quickly answer I missed the tech stack. I just
want
to say,
I didn't mean to interrupt you, buddy.
No. I use Sora for images. I don't really know that many other people that do that, but Sora has presets where you can create a preset that's like 2,000 characters describing an entire aesthetic. And so, like, I'll make multiple presets, like, for my music videos, and I'll generate images across presets. And then it gets, like, a wide variety of really interesting stuff. Because, like, it's, like, basically style refs for Midjourney. But for Sora, you know, it's a separate text prompt. And then what's neat also with Sora is the presets can have up to 5 images. So if you have an image that's a location and images of objects, then if you make a Sora, all you have to do is use the preset and then type in the scene, like the character, whatever, and it'll put it in that location with those objects in it. So it's like instead of having to nano banana and like do all this stuff, you can drop in, oh, there's always a table with a doily. Oh, there's always a wolf head on the wall. You drop those images into the Sora preset, and then everything you gen will have those things in it.
Is that right?
Yeah,
That's
really
hot.
hyper effective. If you look at my movie, The People of East Snow White, you'll see like if you skip ahead to a scene that takes place in the judges' chambers, you'll see the same props in every single image, and that's because I took those props and put them in the preset.
That's smart because like the hours I spend on compositing things into
That's what I do
scene,
too. Composite everything.
Yeah, it's
and then
hyper.
half the time it's not the
hyper-effective.
same shit, you know. So
Yep.
it's like
It will be
that's
exactly the same. No one else does it like Sora in the presets for image drops.
I'm gonna have to check
And then,
that out.
and then for the character, for consistent characters, when you just like you just drop an image of the character in the prompt, and you can have up to 5 images. So if you have a character that's wearing an exact thing, drop the character and then don't describe what they're wearing. Just use a name, and it'll automatically put them in the exact clothing as the image drop. So Sora's hyper effective with that. And then
Is
for
that
music,
native
I like
to Sora? Or
Yes.
can you get it on Hegsfeld or some of the others? I have.
no, it says Sora is just Sora Image Gen just has this thing. It's very underutilized. The 5
Interesting.
image drops for a prompt and 5 image drops in a preset. And then Luma Labs, I use Ray 3 for like my heavy lifting for image to video, because it's just really good quality off the bat. Like you just get good stuff with it. And then VO3 obviously is incredible, right? VO3 is great for when you have a random image and you need someone to speak. It does a really good job, but like there's that lack of consistency. But you could describe a character's voice, and then if you use that same description in every prompt, it creates an audio consistency.
Close.
And
And you know, I can give you a tip on that I use. What I do is I then, if those voices aren't consistent, I will get
voice
them to say, I clone them in 11 Labs, and then I voice them myself.
Yeah.
Over top of that.
Right. Well, it's tough, right? With the lip sync, it's like a whole thing, right?
Yeah.
With Sora 2 and with for consistency, use a celebrity, right? Because it knows what the celebrity kind of looks like, so it'll like generate that. And then what's really neat, and this is something I don't know if anyone else knows about this for Sora 2, but the thing that has one of my friends is like a top AI researcher. He's convinced that Sora 2 is like a sneak peek at AGI because of its humor. Its humor is way better than regular GPT-5 Pro humor. Like it's special, the humor in it. And so unlike VO, where VO is really good for prompting exact dialogue, with Sora, if you just give it context, like you don't say what the dialogue is for Sora, just have the context, and then Sora will understand the scene and generate its own dialogue. And it's generally really strong.
All right, real quick, we're at the 2-hour mark. So anyone who who has other things they want to tend to, you are free to go. You can say some last minute things. I only have about 4 or 5 more questions. And then for some of my peeps who are in the audience, there will be an after show that is unlisted where we can just chat and stuff like that. Some of you guys can come up. I'll send a link for you to join me on camera. But this is where we're at right now. So any of you guests, are you trying to leave? Bye, Brian.
Sorry.
Oh, well, Brian,
Brian,
by the way, I put that Dragon Ball Z link in the private chat. That was
I'm
the
gonna
alt
check it out.
keyframe. If you see, I use the speed up
Are
method
we?
the whole time.
I don't think we're connected on X. I'll follow you after this.
Cool.
Let us know what you're working on, what's coming out next.
I'm trying to get too much done too soon, but the main thing coming out is I'm doing the sequel to Red Nose. It'll be Red Nose 2. I'll be announcing that after Thanksgiving. I'm trying to get Tough Turkey out. Tough Turkey 2, Tougher Turkeys, of course. And just more nonsense from me. But before I go, I wanted to say thank you very much for putting this together, Tasha. I have a great deal of respect, not only for you, but for all of the other people in here to pioneer this and have the guts to stand up and say, fuck you, we love AI. And
Slop creators unite.
Yeah, no, seriously, because it's not going to be so funny in 5 years when this is the dominant thing. We are at MTV 1981 when they laughed at music videos. That's what's happening. in the next 4 years, this will be the dominant culture. I do believe that. We are creating an entirely new genre of entertainment, and I have a great deal of respect for all of you, and including the people who are watching and supporting us. So keep at it. Don't quit, and I hope to see you all online.
All right,
All right,
bye,
yeah, I'll
Brian.
speak to you on X, Brian, for
All
sure.
right. See you guys. Thank
All
you.
right, bye. All right,
And
for you guys,
thank you, Matt.
resources, what are you using to stay on top of the tools? The new tools that come out, who are you watching? Or are you just going to the websites and trying it out on yourself? Or is there an influencer you like? Who is it?
I mean, I follow a ton of people on X, right? And so there are all the influencers. Whenever something new comes out, a million people are saying the game just changed. Hollywood is dead. Here's this, and here's 10 ways to do it, right? So it's like I don't really like those posts, but at the same time, they're super useful because if something new is coming out, they're going to be the ones ranting and raving about it, and I'll be like, do I need to spend $100 to add this to my workflow? You know, I don't know what your guys' tech stacks are, but mine is like about 1,000, 1,100 per month. So it's like, you know, the shit adds up. It's expensive, and it's like adding something new. It's tough, right? But I pay attention to Blacklight, and
we are going to talk about cost in a second, you guys. Oh, you play attention.
Mean Orange Cat.
I didn't know he was a influencer. I didn't know Mean Orange Cat and Blacklight were influencers like that.
Well, I mean, you know, the conversations come up. You know.
Okay. What about you, Hooroo? Who are you looking at?
I'm kind of already a curmudgeon that I'm like, I don't want to know anything new. I'm just stuck to my old tools.
He's over there with like Runway still. And,
But that's I want to say that's deadly though. You have to keep up on it.
Yeah.
And I like, there's a very underrated show. We both like him, Sean Ward, Wednesday AI. That he's always talking about new things every Wednesday, and every time I go on Twitter and just browse it, there's something new. So that's how I keep up on it.
I didn't know you and Gregory be lurking on Twitter like that. All right, Blacklight, who are you looking at?
I just over the past year, I've been invited into like a lot of little like group chats and WhatsApp chats and Signal chats and X group chats. So
all right, no one likes a bragger.
No, but I'm nothing like that. But it's like I just open up and what
Blacklight is with the mover and shaker.
People just like are talking about, oh, this is coming out, and it's like then I go and take a look at it, or hey, this workflow just like it's really like the open source side because that's where a lot of like the movement happens because a lot of these tools are just building open source through their UI UX experiences. So that's where like the new stuff is coming from. So I watched like the open source people first.
Well, I mean, I stand by the fact, what I consider the fact are the guys who are making AI porn are the best at it technically. And they're all open source guys. They're all comfy UI guys and stuff like that. Like from a technical standpoint, they're killing it. They're crushing it. And it's always been the underbelly with deep fakes and everything. They've always been like right there at the front. So yeah, open source is where AI search does a lot of open source. I got tired of the whole white paper stuff because it's like what's out now? Like I don't really need to know what's coming down. Like if I can't use it, I don't have time to focus on every white paper. But
yeah, and I mean that's like the open source discords. That's where I like just kind of keep an eye on because you'll see those technologies be integrated into these companies, especially like look at what's happening with nodes right now. Nodes is essentially like everyone's coming out with their own modular like node-based boards. That's just comfy. So they're just taking that stuff and putting it like a plug-in on top of it, and it's just how the tools are used.
Which I find strange because most of us use a lot of commercial projects to avoid using Comfy. I mean, if we wanted, I mean, Comfy's got that's the best workflow. Yeah. But I'm like that Grandpa Simpson GIF, I walk in and walk out as soon as I see a node. But
now there's a value in it. Like if you were to have it set up where you could have an image and you run like 4 variations of the same image or 8 variations of the same image, and then same with the animations, and you can go in and build your workflow like that where you can actually go in and curate your story a little bit more granular. that would be super useful. But that takes a lot of like you said, technical work.
Yeah, I know it's better. Enigmatic, he does a lot of Comfy UI and a lot of that really interesting stuff. Like a year or so ago, I told him, I said, you should teach everything, like on YouTube. And then, you know, he went over to X and he really started doing more of it. And I'm so glad because his stuff is just amazing. Future Tech Pilot is, you know, is the Mid-Journey guy. And these are things I'm also letting, you know, newer people know. I like AI Video School. Mike, he has a lot of workflows that cater to longer form and like, you know, and how to get around all that kind of stuff opposed to a lot of the other things that cater more to shorter form. So he kind of teaches you all of the weaknesses and strengths and things like that of the longer form style. Tao Prompts, TAOPROMTS. He's good with a lot of comparisons, same with Cyber Jungle. Bob Doyle Media, he does a lot of open source, and he just put out a video, I think it was yesterday, comparing 11 Labs to this thing called Fish Audio for text-to-speech. And I mean, just the intro itself, like, really gives 11 Labs a run for the money. So, you know, so that's the thing. I don't follow the X people that much just because I don't like
The
to
influencers?
Huh?
The influencers, you mean?
Yeah, the influencers. I mean, I'll just go on YouTube and follow, you know, like a couple accounts, and that keeps me up to date. Because the X stuff is just for me a bombardment of, you know, it's too much.
Well, you're like the content creator. You're the one who drops the bombs as opposed to the one picking up the pieces.
What does that mean?
It means I'm saying you're making the dope shit, right? Like the influencers come to you as opposed to the other way around.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, as they say, I mean, the actual artists are the influencers. Influencers to me are salesmen. They sell tools and they sell processes and stuff like that. Or they showcase processes and they sell tools. But I don't know, you know, society calls them influencers. I don't know why. All right. So what's the most fun part for you and the least fun part for you for the whole AI filmmaking process? What is like, ooh, this is where I get my orgasms, and this is pure paperwork?
The most fun, pressing publish because a project is done.
Oh.
And getting that final, like, okay, and then watching it and seeing the reactions of people. The least fun, probably yelling at the AI over and over and over again because it keeps fucking forgetting every fucking thing that you tell it, and you have to repeat yourself over and over and like, no, for the last time, I don't want quotation marks. No, you have to do this. No, you have to do that. Like, there's a level of stress that gets created where I know what I want done and Gemini knows, and it keeps saying, I'm sorry, you're right, here, this is better, but it's not better. And we need better AI, you know? People like rant about how fucking great AI is. Well, you know what? Like for the people that have to teach it a project and give it training documents and then run prompts through it, like it'll forget. Like it doesn't matter if Gemini on AI Studio has 2 million tokens context, it's gonna forget, you know. But this is changing. We're moving in a direction where the LLMs are gonna get better and better, and that's gonna disappear. So I guess really the least fun is like the slot, when you make something that takes a long time and you put your heart and soul into it, and then they'll just drop it and be like, this is soulless, you're a thief, this has no value, and you should be ashamed of yourself. Like, all right.
How do you guys deal with the trolls? And I'll get back to the question for everybody, but I know a lot of people struggle with criticism.
I just tell people that I've been an artist long before AI. I'm going to be one long after it.
You explain yourself. You so nice. How about
think,
you?
well, no, to an extent. And then if they just want to troll, I'm just over it. I'm too old to deal with people's fucking bullshit. Like,
right.
I'm trying to enjoy my life, like, and I'm not even that old. Like, it just gets to a point where, like, you're talking to a brick wall. Like, you're not going to change. Oh no, you don't like my AI? Do you know how many people there are in the world? Like, I don't give a shit. Like, sorry. I had people even in the AI space that will give me shit, and I'm like, I don't care. I'm making fun shit for me. Like, or they'll think I'm high and mighty. I'm like, people are allowed to have their opinions on stuff. Like,
Yeah.
sorry, your opinion may be different than mine, but like that's kind of the point of the public square is to like.
There's a lot of
put the-
competition, passive aggressive behavior between
Yeah, and
creators.
there's
Dick
enough
comparing.
pie for everybody. You know what I mean? If you look, we're in like in an attention economy, and you're talking about the attention of billions of people. There is more than enough of that space to be occupied by every single person that's creating 10 times over. So
Yeah, the
there's
audience is there, and if you
Yeah.
watch, if your audience watches something, it doesn't mean they're not going to watch mine.
Exactly.
Like, why,
And just
why
because
do you have to have that?
there's no competition. If some
Yeah,
of the people
yeah.
that watch my stuff love Tasha's stuff. I love people that create other things. You know, it's like there's an economy there that exists. And I think as we move into the AI space, into more generative spaces, there will always be a need for like world builders and storytellers, because there will always be people that just want to consume that type of media. They don't want to create it. And so there is plenty of time and plenty of room for everybody, and there isn't a need for this like nitpicking that exists. So that's my 2 cents on it.
Well said.
What about you, Hooroo? What's your favorite part and your least favorite part?
My favorite part is because I work so frequently in animation, I've discovered that what Walt Disney discovered, what Miyazaki discovered, and what they discovered is when you have animals in an animated film, they're so magical and they have their own soul almost. So when I make a movie, I always put animals in it. And when you put an animal in these movies, in AI especially, they might walk across the knees of the character, or they walk in the background in a funny way on the shelf. So I always am putting animals in the movie, and it's really fun to just watch them come alive. They create such a magical feeling in you.
I
So
love that
that's my
answer.
favorite. That's my favorite part of it. My least favorite part of the trolling is so intense that it makes the process for me full of dread. So for when I'm working for months, I have a sick feeling in my stomach
Wow.
that the trolls are going to come after me.
You stole that rabbit, you thief.
Yeah, I mean, they just hit and run, and like I haven't learned to have a thick skin yet about it, but I'm getting better about it. It used to beat me up for days, but now it just takes a couple of minutes and I'm over it.
Well, that's a lot of progress.
Focus on the positive things that people have to say, because there's always going to be people that try to pull you down, right? What was it, Bob Dylan? Rather than trying to climb any higher, bent out of shape by society's plier, trying to drag you down into the hole that he's in. Like, don't let them drag you down.
Do you guys ever get the emptiness after you create something, where you've spent so much time and work on something that after it's completed and after it's all done, you're just like, ah. You have that moment of just like, because you're not carrying it anymore. It's outside of you.
I call it postpartum. Yeah.
When you're saying postpartum depression after finishing a project?
Yeah, because it's the creative process is like being pregnant. You get pregnant with an idea, you carry it for a while, you give birth, and then there is that post like, okay, that's over.
This is a real thing.
Well, the cure is
is
to start the next thing.
Right.
Well, I also I do
Gregory
intensives, right? Like Whispers last month was like 30 episodic pieces out of order in 30 days. So that is like a very like fast pace, like take shortcuts when you have to complete those segments, but it's like a very regimented like type of doing it, and it was exhausting afterward I got done and I was just like, oh my god, what, I feel like I just got out of like a cloud almost. It's weird.
Yeah. And I fall in love with my characters too, because I spend a lot of time with them. So like the last week or so before I release, and if they're just mine before they go off into the world, like a kid going to college or something, then it's just like, it's precious for me, because it's like, now you're just mine. But after that, people are gonna, like the mook that Hooroo talked about, like, that kind of stuff comes into the picture and everything. But, for a while, it's just like you with these people, these characters you spend time with. You see 'em.
Tasha, if you love it, let it go.
And I do let it go. I do let it go. All right. I guess before we get to the Q&A, I will just say, well, health wise, because we talked about, a little bit of the mental health aspect with Hooroo saying, he's gotten a little better with it.
And if you ever need to speak to anybody, Hooroo, feel free to reach out to us.
You can't talk to us. No, just
if
kidding.
anybody. But
No,
seriously,
you can
if
talk
if
to
you need a rant about the haters, it's cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But what else do you guys do to maintain your ability to do this physically and mentally? You're sitting at a computer for long hours, 12 hours, 15 hours a day, things like that. So physically, what are some of your hacks to maintain health? And mentally, what are some of your ways of dealing with, creating an art form that is still pretty contentious?
Tai Chi, I recommend for everyone. Qigong, anything that can center yourself physically and mentally. Meditation, absolutely. Looking at a computer screen and sitting for a long time is bad on your kidneys. So it's good if you get up and walk around or stretch every little bit. You don't want to get like a blood clot from sitting down, deep vein thrombosis kind of a thing. Mentally, well, I live stream on Twitch all my AI work. It helps me focus. It prevents me from getting distracted by random shit, and it makes it less lonely because people can come by and say hello. And then
that's a big thing too for those who are watching. Gregory does live stream his whole process on Twitch.
I'll be back on Twitch after this.
Yeah, if you're just starting out, I mean, what better help and assistance can you have than watching someone else actually make the films? Go ahead, sorry.
Caffeine, sure, right? I smoke cigarettes, so like nicotine is a thing. And then I've also fallen into the habit of where I don't smoke weed unless I'm working. So
you used to smoke on Twitch, right?
I smoke on Twitch.
Maybe you just put up high. I can't remember.
My process, if I'm like, all right, I'm going to be doing fucking 11 hours at the computer today, what I'll do is an hour of Tai Chi, Qigong, take a hot then cold shower, get that coffee, sit down, smoke a bowl, and then get into it. Right? Like some people, they can't function. For me, I'm the opposite, like maybe ADHD style. I'll get into the zone and focus. And before I know it, I'm 5 hours into the project, So, but it absolutely, you need to be healthy, right? Exercise, meditation, and then there's the vices, right? Like as a writer, I'm not sitting there like, Kerouacking on alcohol the whole time, but instead it's the weed, right? But alcohol is worse than the liver.
Yeah. What about you, Blacklight?
Yeah, I take lots of walks, lots of meditation. I also get up really early. Like I get up at like 5:30 in the morning, and then I just have like moments for myself where I just like go get coffee, have my meditation, also smoke a ton of weed.
Nice.
And
looking at your shit, I would be shocked if you were sober the whole time. I might be more afraid if you were making the things you make completely sober.
That's funny.
Yeah.
How about you?
I have really high anxiety, and so it's really hard for me to have I get really bad social anxiety too. Like even doing this is sending me right now. Looking on camera.
I mean, you.
I like my art to be out there. I don't really like to be I don't know. It's just a weird thing. But yeah.
All right. How about you, Hooroo? What is your health regimen?
Well, the key to all this is that it takes up so much time. It's just basically we were all workaholics as a matter of necessity to do this, and doing it over years, I have a sense that I'm giving my mortality up to this. So I made a conscious decision, because that can be scary, to find a way to hack it. And my hack to do this is to do it without being conscious of it. So I'm living my life as I would have if I wasn't doing it. I'm watching all the same shows, listening to all the same things, exercising and reading, have all the same hobbies and social things. But somehow between this, I'm clicking on it and making a movie. And I found that's the best way for me, is to make it without being conscious of it. Put it in your muscle memory. So
I feel
that
like that's
don't,
a 300 IQ answer.
yeah, I mean, so I don't want to feel like I'm giving up my life
Deep
to
as
it,
fuck.
even
He's
as
a
I am.
person making films opposed to like, just being a filmmaker. It sounds, it's like it's it's a lifestyle. It's a part of your lifestyle, but it's not your whole, it's not
But
everything
it's
you are.
difficult because it has to be your life, if we're doing this, we have no choice.
I don't think it has to be. I think you want it to be like me. Like, I think all of us want it to be like our lives. Like, it's just because we love it so much.
I don't want it to be my whole
I
life.
want to be in
Well,
fucking
I'm not saying your
Hollywood.
whole life, but I mean your
you're
life.
making AI videos for.
I just like making cool shit. That's all it comes down to. And I like making stuff that it resonates with people, and I can tell stories and get all the crazy out of my head.
Yeah,
So it's like that's like what I
I'm
focus
definitely
on.
with you guys on the whole, spiritual stuff and just those quiet moments. I walk about 2 hours a day on the treadmill after I'm done. One of the nice things about long form is you kind of, for me at least, I got my life back. Once I knew I was working on a feature, it's like, there's no way to rush it. Like when you're doing shorter stuff, it's easier to like get eager about wanting to put it out. But for me, especially with how long, like I said, Ali is at least a year or whatever. I'm not gonna sit at a computer every day for a year, like, for 12 hours. Like that's not the way I want to live my life.
It's also not cost effective.
Right.
It's not. I spend less than 100 a month on AI films. And you guys can tell me what you spend, but yeah, tell me what you spend. What do you
My
guys
tech
spend?
stack is about 10, 1100.
A month?
Yeah.
You
Well,
said
I have Google Ultra. I have 2 Sora Pros. I have 2 Lumas. I have Get Image. I have Midjourney. I have 11 Labs. I have Suno. I have Topaz Labs.
you bought Topaz, or you use like a subscription with them?
Topaz was $300 a year, but then a few days ago, after I spent 4 hours upscaling Apocalypse Meow, I discovered that they changed it over the day, and I had to re-upscale it. It's now a monthly. It's $39.99 per month for Topaz Video.
See, I bought them like at like a 200 or less a couple years ago, and I haven't, I don't upgrade or anything.
Well, you haven't used it in the last 3 days. You're gonna have to.
No, I just own the software.
The Topaz Labs Video.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have
Video
to.
AI.
Yeah.
No, I just own the software.
Right, but I think they changed it 3 days ago.
I used them yesterday.
Well, then you're in a specialist case because I had to repay.
Yeah, maybe you upgraded at some point. Maybe just the fact that I haven't upgraded for about 6 months or so.
Then that might be it, right? Yeah.
All right, what are you
My
spending?
tech stack is high.
Personally, I don't spend any. I just expense it all
Hedra.
out
I
for
have
the
Hedra.
company.
Oh, you expenses
Shout out
it all
to
out. Hooroo, what are you spending?
I'm spending 200 on Minimax, 100 something on Kling, and I have Midjourney, so it's probably like 300 a month.
Okay, I use Wave Speed now. I finally broke free. I broke free. I use so I don't pay for any video generators and stuff. Like I said, Kling's the only one I accept credits from. Everything else is out of my pocket. And Wave Speed, I can use them for all the other stuff. I pay for Midjourney and everything, but it all comes out to less than $100 for me because I wanted to. I just don't want to spend more than that.
If your Topaz ever breaks, feel free to just shoot me a file and I'll upscale it for you.
Also, you guys, Gregory just runs his whole film through Topaz afterwards, which I find like
Crazy.
I don't know why, but I'm like scared to do that. I do each video like I upscale each video, but he just runs the whole movie at the end. I'm
It's
like,
great. Just drop it in Gaia, 4K it, maybe apply some grain, you're good.
That's so
I used to
amazing.
do 60 frames per second for everything, but if you have dialogue in scenes, like I've noticed that like Hedra to regular animations, when you do frame interpolation, it kind of like does a transition that looks like shit. So like, and also, see, people are trained like 24 frames per second is the cinematic standard. When you watch something that's 24 frames per second, there's like a relationship in your brain where you associate it with film. That's why TV is not 24 frames per second, it's 30 frames per second. If something is faster, you subconsciously associate it with television. And then if you have 60 frames per second, you subconsciously associate it with video games. And I've like done this where I've had videos 60 frames per second and then 30 and 24, and I just like monitor the comments to see if people notice the frame rate. And I found that you get more love from people who don't like AI at 24 frames per second than you do at 60. At 60, people who don't like AI will say it's not cinematic, but then you'll have people saying, "Holy shit, how the fuck are you doing this so smooth?" So it's like a personal preference. Like gamers prefer 60, people who watch film prefer 24, and people who watch TV prefer 30.
That's really interesting. All right, we're moving to the question and answer segment. We answered a couple already that sent it in before. So if you guys have any questions in the chat, feel free to drop them and we'll answer them now. But we answered Art for Joyce, which she wanted to know with pre-production, where do you start? And as well as generative AI's question about how much research and time is spent on doing this stuff. There are questions about distribution. We did post with the editing question for Captain Haha, but he and several others want to know about your distribution options and what you do there. That was one I really I wanted to talk to Brian about because he just did something with Film Hub, and we were going to talk about that. So if you have a question about Film Hub and someone's experience, Brian has some thoughts on that. But what are you guys' thoughts on distribution? I know we have to show some love to AI music video in the house. I know Blacklight, you know a little bit more about them, so you can talk about them if you want.
Blacklight, I desperately want to collaborate with you on something.
Sure.
But yeah, no, AI and MV, I've never been associated with them. I put my music on DistroKid, right? So I do DistroKid for Spotify, iTunes, and then I just upload to YouTube. I'll drop something on X, but my reach on X is like I'll get 200,000 on YouTube and I'll get like 3 likes on X.
Well, I think everyone wants to know is like, how did you get your audience outside, like, just on YouTube? How did you grow such a
I started with music videos of artists that people liked. And that way, like, oh, they really like this, like Kim Dracula, right? Kim Dracula doesn't have music videos for all his songs. So my second video was a Kim Dracula music video for him, Tech9, We're Hungry and Thirsty, What, right? And that got like 400,000 views. So like I made more Kim Dracula videos. That got me my core audience. And then I did a lot of stuff with Snow. Right, that got me that. But here's the thing, right? Like for building a YouTube, if you're not going the shorts angle, you're going long form. There are people out there that have been making videos for a very short period of time, but they have huge followings. And rather than doing things a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of that, there are a lot of YouTube channels. Like I'm looking at Sagalore AI, at Neural Derp, at Abandoned Films, and at Demon Flying Fox, where they create a standard formula, say Super Panavision 70, which every AI person is familiar with, which was 1950s trailers to popular movies, and people consume the meme, right? So there's large crowds of people that are they want to see the redneck music video for something. They want to see the 1950s Super Panavision. They want to see the blah man in the world. They want to see that stuff. So you, like, as an AI creator, make whatever you want, right? but also make videos inside the memes, right? Like make the thing that people, I made some redneck videos, right? And it captures that audience, capture the audience from different locations. Because if you're just basketing it, where you're making whatever you want, you're not going to get the same views as someone who's just doing the same thing over and over. Those people, they have that core audience, but they're not growing outside of that. They're relegated to repeating the formula over and over, and that formula can be unfulfilling creatively. But if you want to make anything you want, make stuff in the formula too, because you're going to capture that audience.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What
Yeah, for
about
me, it's
you,
just put
Hooroo?
an egg in every basket. Oh, sorry.
I know you distribute on Amazon and things like that.
Yeah, part of it is my background in trad film. I still use trad film distribution, so I push everything through Film Hub. I highly recommend to get widest possible distribution. You do both AI and Film Hub.
Oh, so he can talk about Film Hub. You guys don't have to bother Brian.
Yeah.
So if
and
you have
this
any
is-
more questions, go ahead.
This is what indie filmmakers use Film Hub. It's just unfortunate. It doesn't pay that much, but I still make a nice monthly small amount to get groceries or something. And I also push everything through AI, Escape AI, YouTube. My goal was wide a distribution as possible. And
So Film Hub,
Facebook.
You're going to Tubi. You're
Facebook groups.
going to maybe Plex and stuff.
yeah, it's just
Just the
hundreds of places, and they watch your trailer and they see your pitch and then they take it on. I also have a Chinese distributor who I pushed DreadClub to, and I'm not in China. They have rules about ghosts. You can't have ghosts and things like that, something like that. So I'm not sure why they would accept DreadClub, but I've been going through the process with them because it's about vampires. I'm not sure the Chinese will allow it, but they're pushing me through to a Chinese company. So that's new for me. So I don't know what'll happen.
Don't promote on Reddit, by the way, because you'll get haters that will lower your view retention because they won't watch the whole thing. They'll just click on it and then watch 10 seconds and leave on purpose.
Yeah, Reddit is. I don't know. People are angry there.
No, Reddit is very anti-AI, right? Which is ironic because not to get into politics, but generally people on the left, which are more socialist, oppose AI more, which is ironic because you would think that giving the power back is democratizing the entertainment industry and the ability to share your work. But there's that conflict with IP and that need to feel like your art is threatened by a new art form, like the fact that you spend all this time in the craft and now something is coming in to supplant it. So I feel it's like the fear and the anger overrides everything else, and it's just strange to me that you have people that are anti big corporation but will defend corporate copyright law restricting the creatives in the AI space because generative AI is part of that like anti-copyright piracy movement. It's strange.
All right. I don't know if Blacklight wanted to say more about distribution.
No.
I know there was this festivals question, and I saw Wicked Gregory. You said you don't do festivals because of the IP issue. I know Hooroo has done several festivals. If you want to talk about your experience there, that would be great.
Just to go backwards on the distribution, though, Blacklight, you found a lot of success on TikTok. Mm-hmm. With your videos, more so than on YouTube and X, right? Mm-hmm. I want to know, do you have any tips for other AI creators that use TikTok?
Yeah, it's about like creating the 3-second bull ride. So you have to assume that anyone that's on social, like a scrolling social media, so Reels, Shorts, TikTok, it's all the same formula. You have to stop the behavior of someone scrolling. And usually to stop that, it's a surprise or something they're not expecting, something intriguing. So your hook has to be within that first second. Beyond that, you get, after you win the viewer to stop, they'll give you 2 seconds at minimum to like get that hook even more, where they're like, okay, I'll finish this. And then after that, it's just, you got them until about 10 seconds. And so it's like almost these like check-in points where you have to have like peaks and valleys in your story. But like the peaks have to be the first things to stop the scrolling in the beginning. You're trying to disrupt a behavior, which is very different than like film, where someone's going into it knowing they're going to watch an art piece, or they're going to watch a piece of like cinema that's going to tell them a story.
All right. Christy, how do you say your name? No, just kidding. Christy's great. She helped me do a dress rehearsal for this along with Matt. So I know her. That's my girl. What do you do when you get stuck? She wants to know. I mean, a deep hole. She said deep hole. Yeah. So do you guys get stuck at all?
No. I have more things to do than I know what to do with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like overwhelming how not stuck I am with AI. And if I ever am stuck and I don't know what to do, I ask AI. I'll go to Gemini. I'll be like, here's everything that I've done. I'm indecisive. What the fuck am I doing? Give me some ideas. And then, like, you know, the thing is yeah, maybe it shoots out like 100 terrible ideas, but instead of you having to think about it yourself, just rely on the AI as something that's going to just put ideas out, pulling it out from the ether, and see if anything you can latch onto it, right? Like, and then you could also resort back to your passions. Like, what is the thing that you're most passionate about? What would you do that's going to be the most exciting for you, right? And if it's not that, then go back to the audience and say, what does the audience want to see? What could I do that people want to watch? What can I do? And then like, if you still can't figure out what to do, then go to the memes, look at the people that are doing the same thing over and over again, and say, how can I do that but elevate it or make it my own? You know, like that way, instead of having to come up with something, you're just automatically falling into something that people do as like a you know, over and over and over and over again. And then maybe in doing that, you'll find a muse, or otherwise at least you're making something.
And knowing Chrissy, I also know a part of her question deals with a lot of second guessing and wanting it to be perfect. You know, that whole like, you know, people are going to judge me on this. I want it to, you know, be as, you know, and just kind of getting stuck in that, like, and kind of getting paralyzed by that.
You got to walk away from it at sometimes and just like, you know, you can take, that's the moment where you take a break. Yeah. Because what'll happen is your brain will try to reset and do something else. And in the background, you'll still be working on the problem. Like, how can I reconceptualize this? How can I revisualize this? How can I reframe this or make this or do something? And those thoughts happen when you're off and away from the project. So I find a lot of times when I feel like I'm going to be stuck on something, I'm already thinking about how I want to make a scene play out and then work the problem backwards. Like, here's my intended outcome. How do I get that? And that is usually helpful to me, because when you're building linearly, you're thinking from the previous, you know, frame. Sometimes you have to think about what the ultimate outcome is of a scene and then work your way the other direction.
Mm-hmm. There's also the technique of sit in a quiet room for an hour and do nothing. Just sit there. It is a strong technique. Generally, this can be applied to any problem you have. Whenever you have a problem you can't figure out the answer to, shut everything off and just sit there for an hour. Mm-hmm. And by the time you reach 30, 40 minutes, your brain will have a solution for you. Mm-hmm. It just happens, right? You need to quiet yourself and let everything empty. And then if not, then at least you had a little bit of peace for a little while, hopefully.
Yeah, Marty said sleep on it. That's accurate. Like, definitely, there's been times where I wake up the next day and I'm like, nope. And I'll start even a whole prior segment all over. So.
All right. Another question was about funding. I don't know if any of you, need that, but Some people want to know.
Funding. My funding is my YouTube earnings. And then like I did music videos for cash, right? Like I started out like making music videos for other people for money. But now like when people come to me with projects, it's like, do I really want to make something for them for money? Because I should be making it for myself, for my YouTube to grow my audience, right? But it's like I guess you could like give, send, go, or like you know, try to like conceptualize a project, be like, I need this and this, and try to get people to pay for the tools, right? Crowdsource it.
Yeah, my funding's multiple revenue streams. I get show bookings that I do, and then I get personal projects that people will ask to pay for. I do consultations, I have Patreon, I have all the social media stuff, and then merch. So it's about creating like, same with the distribution side. You want that many funnels to you for revenue. Like any way that you can monetize your content, if people like it over a long period of time, they're going to be invested in it. I mean, I have shirts from when I was a kid of like things that I loved, and I have people now that are like sending me videos of like them in Gorbo's stuff or Damien t-shirts and they're dancing. So yeah, like anywhere you can get it.
All right. I think we probably only have 2 more questions. One is from Garth.
Oh my God.
From
Sorry.
earlier, Garth
That was gonna
Corden.
get the question.
I know TK Smooth is. You guys, your weed smoke drifted to him, I guess, because we got a dream question.
Bro, that
But
happens
before
all
we-
the fucking time.
But I guess we'll end with his question. After this one question about sound design, a person wants to know, Garth Corden, about dialogue and sound design for feature-length film. He says sounds like a mammoth of a task. Is it? To me, it is. Is it
Sound is the hardest part.
Yeah, it's the hardest part.
It's the hardest part.
Yeah, and it's in a lot of ways more important than the visuals. Getting the quality of the visuals right. The sound will take you a lot further than getting the visuals to look great.
Yeah, you could take something and run it through VO and borrow the sound, right? Like if you already have the visuals, take the image or take the first frame, drop it in VO, give it like make sure it doesn't say dialogue, and it'll generate like a rough thing, right?
MM Audio is also really good.
MM Audio
is they're free.
Decent, right? Like that's like the free version of getting the audio, right? 11 Labs is good for individual audio effects, right? And then of course, like if you make shit with VO or you make shit with Sora 2, you don't need to worry about it, right? Udio was the go-to for orchestral music, but that's over, right?
I use Epidemic Sound too.
Epidemic Sound.
Yeah, I do Artlist.
Artlist
Auto is free, right?
Yeah.
Suno
So those are sound libraries, by the way, for those that Epidemic Sound, Artlist, all that kind of stuff. A lot of layering of background noises or sound effects, like opposed to just, hey, this is a gun, boom, you might want to layer that gun. It might be 3 guns. It might, so you want to get a richer sound. A lot of times you're layering. Right. So you're not just going with what the video generator gives you.
Right. Right. Like, and 11 Labs, right? Like MM Audio and 11 Labs are generative sound as opposed to like the audio libraries, right? Which have
and even with the
quality.
audio library, even like the opening Lion and Bruce Lee, that's probably 7 different roars at the same time. You're constantly layering.
Oh yeah.
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 Right. All right. And finally, before we wrap up, and I'll talk to you guys about the after show. After, whoever wants to hang out for that, and some of you might want to join me if you are camera ready up on the thing in the after show. Do you guys dream about doing AI? Is that a thing?
It's the most annoying fucking thing possible. It's like I'm done and I'll go to sleep. It doesn't happen all the time, but it's like I'll get a dream and it's like a dream of me working on what I have to be working on, and it's like generally a dream where it's like I'm struggling to get it because every time I keep trying to do something, I'm getting something else. So it's like dreaming about working on AI is frustrating because it's a fucking dream. So it feels like I'm not getting what I need, and then it's like I wake up and I feel like I just worked. Like you don't want that. It's the opposite. The best possible dream you can have is if you do martial arts. Dreaming about doing martial arts is a big part of advancing your skill, because what it's doing is it's melding your muscle memory with your subconscious mind. But with something where it's like your mind already, because
Mind meld, you say?
memory. Yes, because there's no muscle memory attached to working with AI. It's all mind, so it'll be tiring.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Blacklight? Do you dream it?
I dream not sitting at the computer, but I have obviously some wild dreams. Yeah. A lot of times it's like I feel like I'm in the things that I'm creating. And so it's getting closer to the point of like actually being the things that I dream about. So there's a hard differentiator.
Do you come up with new ideas for your
In
things?
dreams all the time, yeah, 100%.
So I've had ideas from dreams too. One of my best scripts, most well received, The Wicked Wyoming, which is what Wicked AI comes from. I had a dream like 4 years. I had a dream like 4 or 5 years ago. I had a dream about this man walking through the desert who was the devil, who was following this girl crawling through the desert. And I contacted my friend Raza, who's a traditional filmmaker, producer, writer. He went to USC. He had the exact same dream as me.
Wow.
The same fucking dream. So we outlined a concept for a movie based on the fact that we both had the same dream. And he didn't just have the same dream. He had the same dream and wrote it down in his dream journal. So like when I explained the dream, he's like, Greg, I have this dream in my dream journal. Like, what the fuck? And then that dream ended up being like, well, it's not just going to sit there. I want to turn it into a whole fucking thing. So I wrote 2 TV pilots about it and have like a bunch of AI shit. But it's like, no, dreams is like lush ground for ideas.
I edit in my dreams sometimes, which is boring as shit. Like, I'm so pissed if I have a dream where I'm editing. Like, I had a dream where I was doing laundry once, and I was like, this is stupid. What about you, Hooroo? Do you dream it?
My dream, it's a paradox because my dream is like to get $100 million AI deal for Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you mean inside of your dream, or are you just talking about your dreams now?
No,
like
dream.
Oh.
My dream.
Oh.
So, but the paradox is if you get there, that they're going to give you $100 million to run a studio or something. If you can make a CG Pixar movie for $100, why would they give you $100 million dream? Like, so that's, I think going forward, that's going to be something that we have to wrestle with as AI filmmakers. We have to build our own studios.
Well, we are studios. Like, realistically, each one of us is a studio.
That's
because we're
true.
doing the writing, we're doing the production, we're doing the editing, we're doing the sound design, we're doing the image creation, the videos, the acting.
We're the thing that they fear the most. We're the thing that, like, when people say AI is going to replace jobs and it's going to wipe out stuff, we're the example of that because we can create these pieces individually.
Yeah, and we can copy your voice and your looks doing it too and call it videos.
Yeah.
All right, before we close out, what are you guys working on now? What's next? And thank you so much for joining, and
Yeah, thanks for hosting. It's been fun.
Yeah, what are you guys doing?
I'm doing some holiday prep stuff right now. I'm working on season 3 of Route 47 stuff, so I'm going to be doing a lot more like holiday themed regular stuff. Probably a couple music videos. I'm working on a couple collaborations right now. I just submitted a script for some Fast TV, another episode for that. And I'm working on pitching some studios right now for some AI shows.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That is sweet. What about you, Hooroo? What are you working on?
I'm just finishing up my 4th AI feature called My Boyfriend is a Superhero. It's a superhero rom-com.
Love it.
It's
nice.
About a city girl who works in a corporation and her boss is a superhero and she's dating him, and it's got all kind of fun. It's a very light Pixar style animation, and it's coming out surprisingly good. All the criticisms of like AI visuals have really gotten minimal. They're still there, but this is my most advanced movie, I think.
That's awesome. And what's the primary animals that are in it?
Oh, there's a dog, a robot dog. And
Nice.
the dog is super.
Like
it has
Astro?
some. Yeah, it's a robot dog that helps on the superhero stuff, and it's powered by AI. So there's all little chances to put little commentary about AI in it.
Cute.
Oh, that's cool.
All right, and for me, I think a lot of you guys know what I'm working on. What the? Oh, he got kicked out. Let me bring him back.
I'm here. Sorry.
I know it's fine. I'm so used to seeing Matt on that side. I'm like, okay, wait. Oh, okay. Well, okay. So yeah, I'm working on Ali. Next week, this day, Thursday, next week, part 1 will be released November 13th. It's like 10 minutes. It's the opening, so y'all calm down.
When
And
does
then
the
for the
launch?
next, huh?
When does the movie drop?
The movie drops maybe summer or fall next year.
Muhammad Ali doesn't drop till next fucking year.
No, it's always number one. I always said part 1 for fall, but I know people. You know, there was the question of, do I want to put out 30 minutes? You know, the first or before he goes pro or things like that. Up until that point, but
Like a mini series.
We could talk if you join in the after show. We could talk about this stuff, but I feel like it's best for me to package him as a whole mostly next year, and just show the opening and all of that stuff this year, because also I switched the style up a little bit, and I want people to just to hate on, of course, my style for the opening, and because they're gonna judge it no matter what you do, if you use this, if you use that, and then and then switch it up, because I already just stuff like that. So, but I'm excited about it, and I hope you guys like it and watch it. And thank you so much for joining me, you guys, and for sticking around this long. Like I said, well, all of us appreciate you coming. I hope you got something from it. Thank you so much to my guests who joined me. You guys are very generous with your information and your experience, and I really, really appreciate you taking this time. For any of you guys, I put the link in the private chat if you want to join me back on camera for the after show. And then for any of you guys in the audience, there's the link to join there. And then I will ask you guys there if you want, if you want to come on camera and hang out. I can have up to 10 people. And we're just talking and hanging, just vibing, because a lot of us don't get to see each other face to face. So yeah, so we're just going to vibe. But thank you. I'm going to end this stream right now. I will see you guys either in the X streets or on YouTube or whatever. And I will see some of you in the after show. And thank you so much.
See ya.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Look, Hooroo is just a whole mess.
Great.
All right. Bye, Hooroo. Thank
See ya.
you.
Yep,
Bye.